Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. Jackie Charch? Jackie Chan? Chris Wolfhard.
Oops, no moral.
And Dr. Aggro.
You have nothing to lose but your chains.
Here on GigaBoots. Dr. Aggro will play Magneto in the new streaming series.
Like, if you take the timeline and try and view everything that happened as having actually happened, this is what Magneto would look like by now.
Like, literally that.
Yeah.
You right now. Is that Charles' skull he's holding? Where is...
like the beard coming out of the helmet.
Yeah, I like that. You know what?
Sure. New take.
Chris, you're okay with this, right? You just went through a shitload of X-Men films. You're okay with long-bearded ginger Magneto, right?
Sure. I mean, they already had to do an entire time travel movie to erase them evaporating him in X3.
Oh, man.
So like, oh shit, we blew Xavier up. What do? I guess do a time travel movie to imply it's fine.
God, a lot of that series became don't forget about X3. That's not real.
It's funny how many different things I feel like by now in movie and game history have become. Forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're just put it aside. It didn't happen. I cataloged all of our games and all of my movies for GigaBoots into these bags that are like zipper shut bags that are perfectly sized for Blu-rays or DVDs. And through this, I have concluded I possibly have one of the most clown shoes 4K Blu-ray collections on the planet Earth.
Yeah, of course.
I have 3 X-Men films, and they're not the ones you would think. I have The Wizard of Oz. But it's okay. I needed to know what the fuck they would do to The Wizard of Oz for a 4K HDR Blu-ray. Now, keep in mind, most of these I bought on insane Black Friday sales. Don't think I'm going out there. I don't know. I think John Wick 4 possibly is the only time I've spent anywhere near $20 on a 4K Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them were got at ludicrously low prices. But, oh my God, that collection is embarrassing. It is bad. And all I could think is, well, eventually we'll end up on that really fancy TV. I guess I have to rewatch all 3 of these. At least I stopped myself. I don't own Dark Phoenix.
Good.
If you have a 4K Blu-ray of X-Men Dark Phoenix and would like to send it to our P.O. box, it's in the
I'm excited to see
channel.
how that can be worse than Apocalypse. That seems impossible.
It's so much
we'll
worse.
see.
It's insane.
Pinned in the announcement channel on the Discord. But do let me know. The P.O. box. The post office pulled this fun thing where somebody sent us chocolate from Hawaii. Thank you, Essentia J-Dam. Delicious chocolate from Hawaii. They put no evidence anything ever was received for us in the box. I had to walk up to the counter when they were open and go, I have evidence something showed up. Where the hell is it? And they're like, oh, here you go. And I'm like, what? The idea of a P.O. box is that you put a slip in the P.O. box that says the thing that arrived is too big. By the way, it was not too big.
Yeah,
at
of course
all.
not. It's like a
Could've fit in
couple
that box.
chocolate bars.
So what the fuck? Did they smell the chocolate? And they're like, oops, I didn't put it in the box. I don't understand. But now this is a high-risk thing. So do not send something to us without at least letting us know when it is arriving. Thank you. Anyway. So here's what we're accepting. I need to... One moment. This is a good segment. One moment. We need music for this segment. I'll tell the co-host what the music is after I've already started it. Okay. Here's a list of things you can send to our P.O. box. Chocolate from Hawaii, specifically. 4K Blu-rays of X-Men Dark Phoenix. Copies of Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit because I only have 5 copies.
It's not enough.
I want to have a bookshelf full.
Oh, I need to find my copy of that and send it in. I can also send you Agents of Mayhem so it can stop being in my fucking house.
Not Agents of Mayhem.
Maybe I'll put it in the burst limit case and then you'll open it and be like, ah! It'll ensnare you and force you to stream that game that has literally nothing in it.
I scrambled to open the burst limit case. It's another one. I scrambled to open the Agents of Mayhem case. It's another one. Like, wait a minute. Bob, is there... I feel like there's...
I don't know offhand any others that we've been talking about.
Frankly, if you want to send me the PS3 copy of Spider-Man 3, that'd be appreciated, but I feel like you're going to take too long doing that. Maybe not. They have a PS2 copy at the local store.
They do.
I was really tempted.
It's not as funny, sadly.
It's a lot cheaper, though.
And it's also way more dog shit. That's what I heard from everything. Bob, any other... And I doubt you own it, but a copy of Lifeline. Because I ordered it once. No, I ordered the Spider-Man 3 once, and that came in, and it was so bad I returned it immediately to eBay.
Yeah, that would not play in our system at all. Oof. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you for enjoying our new segment sent to Mario Paint Music, where we eBay.
I mean, I'll take a copy of Tenchu Fatal Shadows. I don't... There's no reason.
Bob will take any game that features a ninja and is for the PS2.
Any. You don't even need to limit it. I'll take basically any ninja game.
Send Bob your ninja games. We played Dust last Friday.
Ninja Bread Man coming on.
Oh, hell yeah. Bob's excited. You literally cannot send the man a ninja game and him not be excited, frankly. So... Luckily, I've been given a platform. And unlike Aggro, who every time he mentions that he's been given a platform is about to say something horrible.
Slander.
I would like to promote a really good game that I only tried for the first time this last week. Did you know ATV Off-Road Fury 4 is really good? Came out in the same year as MotorStorm, cost $10 less, and is a vastly superior game?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's weird that I do, come to think of it.
Yeah, like I did not know you played these.
Why were you hiding this from us?
I played this at a friend's house once, like over Christmas, and I'm just remembering that for like the first time. This is an interesting experience.
It's like, what is the opposite? It's almost like a reverse Mafuba. Like, I'm not containing an evil, I'm unleashing something within Aggro. Anyways, so here's the weirdest thing about the ATV Off-Road Fury games. First two are made by some developer. I think their name was Rainbow, like Rainbow Studios, LLC, or Inc. 3 and 4 are made by Climax Racing, who, weirdly enough, that's the people who made Split Second and a bunch of other racing games. Apparently, halfway through making, because ATV Off-Road Fury is a Sony franchise, halfway through making this franchise, they abandoned the developer who was making them to hire people making better ATV games on other platforms.
Wait, did they also make Pure by any chance?
I think they may have. I need to look into that. The thing they were making at the time is ATV. What was it? ATV Quad Power 2. And they're like, "You, come make this. You get out. Shoo, scram." Weirdly, I bought 3 and 4. They were $5 each at the local retro game store. I bought 3 and 4 because I played 2 back in the day. I was like, oh, that was cool. I'd love to see what 3 and 4 were. Turns out made by completely different people and probably way better. 3's all right. It's fine. It's like a 7, maybe an 8 if you're being generous. This is a fucking game. These physics are great. The tracks are good. The visuals are stunning. It has still functioning online. Thanks to the community, apparently. You can use X-Link Kai, or there may even be servers put up by people, so that way you can do it. So please look forward to the GigaBoots community night, where we play ATV Off-Road Fury 4 for the PlayStation 2.
Something blew me away. Is there's story mode? Like
there's a story mode. It's the only one that has that. None of the prior ATV Off-Road Fury games have it. And not only do they have the story mode, unlike those cowards and Neversoft, you can do this story mode in 2006 as either a guy or a girl.
Crazy.
Also, weirdly, ATV Off-Road Fury 3 also asks when you boot it. It's like, hey, which? Hit these buttons. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy. It's not even a default. They set 2 different face buttons, right? It's not like you're set to male and then you have to change it. No, it's just literally like, which are you? And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That is so unexpected because at this exact point in time, Tony Hawk had cut being a girl. Because they're like, it's American Wasteland. You're going to have a romance with another woman. That doesn't make any sense if you're female.
It could never happen, especially not with skaters.
I spent our whole time playing American Wasteland in Tony Hawktober one year being like, just don't use any pronouns. Just say skater and you're good. No one ever needs to re-record a line. It's so easy. People would have been fucking weirdos if they're like, why did that other character call me dude? And it's like, well, because you're a skater, dude. I'm sorry, all skaters are dudes. But the reverse is not true, just so you know.
I mean, this was well-established wisdom of the time. That I'm a dude, he's a dude, and she's a dude.
We are.
Because we're all dudes.
We're all dudes. It's true. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dan, MotorStorm lets you play as a variety of vehicles. This is just an ATV game. You race in a quad. You see that though? You see that? No, you don't, because the camera's pulled out. And if I change layouts, it'll ruin everything. You could play as multiple different vehicles, and they actually do like really big races across the countryside where it does literally the MotorStorm thing, where you're off-roading. If you're using a motorcycle, you can get through tighter areas, or you're using the quad, you can get through tighter areas. You're using the truck or the buggy, you can go faster, but it's a bit more roundabout. And frankly, I feel like the courses that I've raced in this so far better execute on the idea of using the smaller vehicles is an advantage in that way than MotorStorm, which is weird because in this, unlike how I felt in MotorStorm, you literally can race into the areas that are very small as the truck. You can risk it. It's not a good plan. You can flip your truck. But you can do that.
What did the people that made MotorStorm do before MotorStorm?
They did... Chat, you have to know. It's one of those, like, very European-centric racing games. They have a number of them on the PS2. They did, like, 4 of them.
Okay, so they did do PS2 stuff. They didn't just materialize to make MotorStorm.
No, they did quite a few. Oh, there we go. World Rally Championship. The worst part, I remembered the name, and I'm like, Dan, you're just collating every word you could think that's adjacent to the idea of racing. But no, it's true. They did, I think, 4, maybe 5 of them on the PS2. They were literally still making it while making MotorStorm.
Wow.
So I need to go and try those, because this is stellar. I'm actually really bummed, because for people who don't know, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. When years later on the PS4, Evolution, the studios, the people who made MotorStorm, are making Drive Club, Sony management, in the middle of development, multiple times started tossing wrenches into them making the game, because they were like, well, we have Gran Turismo, so you can't do that. That's too similar. It's like, you greenlit the game, and now you're just ruining us trying to make the best version of it, because now you're getting cold feet about it being too similar. So I guarantee you, they didn't greenlight these people to make a PS3 game because MotorStorm existed. And that sucks. This studio dies like 4 years later after making Split Second.
Which sucks. I always hear Split Second is incredible. That's like one of the best racing games of the gen.
It's so upsetting because this game's really genuinely great. It does this thing. You know, a lot of people think Unreal Engine 5 invented this with Nanite, but as you race down the course, the geometry becomes higher detail the closer you get to it. So it looks and runs incredible all the time. This game is even progressive scan widescreen.
Yeah, not many PS2 games did that.
No, not a ton. I think the total list of games, even with alternate display modes, as it's called, for supporting 16:9 progressive scan or 1080i, it's like 100 maybe?
Yeah,
it's a very small amount compared to the larger library at minimum.
Right, which the library is like, what? 5,000, 9,000 games. It's
Yeah,
huge.
it's somewhere around 7K, I think.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's enormous.
So, smack dab in that. Is it anamorphic widescreen? No, it's like legitimate. They output the full resolution. They didn't put fake black bars, if that's what you're trying to ask. Eva Lucario. Yeah, it looks correct. Even that's the weirder part, because plenty of games did bad widescreen, which crop in terribly. But this looked great.
But yeah,
Stunningly fun game to play.
that's something I didn't know. These are made by Sony. Like this is
Yeah,
Sony
this
publisher.
is a Sony. Oh, you didn't know that was?
I didn't know that was Sony published
That's
at
a
all.
Sony
'Cause
game,
looking,
yeah.
Looking at it, like nothing about the cover makes me think that. Even though if you look at the bottom, yes,
Yeah, it
has
does.
logos.
It does literally say
Yeah.
online with the Sony Online logo and Sony Computer Entertainment. I guess I knew that because it came on a demo disc, like
Okay.
ATV Off-Road Fury 2 did. And I genuinely like 2. I now need to go buy 1 and 2 just to compare, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, Eva Lucario, I guess like anamorphic is really what they all are, because black box is the black box situation where you put the bars and then you crop and zoom and it looks terrible. That's just throwing away tons of resolution. So this is literally, it's doing the full scan out, just stretch it wide.
That makes me think of I was getting images of Ninja Scroll to put in the podcast.
The podcast you need to listen to.
Yes.
We did a Wea Boomers on Ninja Scroll, the hyper-violent, sexy, not really, anime from the 90s. Anyways, what's up, Bob?
That has black bars like actually in the encode for the make it 4x3 like that.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is really weird. I get frustrated every time I run into that.
Yeah, so they're there.
Uh-huh. It's unfortunate. That kind of works out in our situation because we make the back plate for the video and then we fade in the images.
Mm-hmm.
So it might look better with the black.
It might.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't watch our own videos.
Oh, God.
If there's a problem, you have to tell us. If an AI corrupted somewhere in Google servers and started putting horrible like propaganda images into our podcast, you have to let us know. Who's Jin Karya? I've never heard of this man. What do you mean he keeps showing up in our content? A rogue AI is taking over our streams. So yeah, as Bob was talking about, this has a story mode. You boot this game and it has a trailer cut from the story mode footage where it's just like the whole arc of a sports movie is the boot up video for this game. And I was like, what the fuck? Because none of the other ones have anything remotely like that. It's just a Tony Hawk style campaign idea, just played out in super cut movie trailer format. The funniest thing about this, ATV Off-Road Fury 3, according to Moby Games, has like 130 people who worked on it.
Mm-hmm.
This has 536. Now, a person I was talking to, Buried Salmon, was noting that it was something like Sony Online Entertainment is credited for 40 engineers. And I'm like, that makes sense. It's 2006. They have to make the real PlayStation Network now
Yeah.
in time for the PS3. So there's a really good chance they just credited everyone who worked at Sony Online.
Right, even though they're not working on that game specifically at all.
Yeah.
They're just...
Which I believe I just said Sony Online Entertainment. I did not mean that because
Okay.
that is technically the people who made EverQuest.
Right, that's different.
I meant Sony Computer Entertainment's Online,
Mm-hmm.
which is a different concept. But still, what insanity. A PS2 game where you credit 530 plus people. That seems unreal to me. Completely unreal. But yeah, no, this game's good. It's good. It's really good. It cost me $5. If you have a retro game store near you and a functioning PS2, just pick it up. It's got really good physics, but then it isn't so encumbered to be realistic that it feels bad because you have midair control of your vehicle.
Mm.
And I don't mean like what you would expect, like in a quad of if you lean forward, it will tilt forward so you can line up landing on the ground more. I mean, you can also just steer in midair as the truck or the quad or the anything. And as you go through the story mode and stuff, you're literally upgrading your thing. You're reducing its weight. You're increasing like horsepower and all these other things. You're replacing your suspension so that way it can corner better. You can tune your suspension so that way Either you'll be good at doing the straightaways. So every course has a different distribution of what materials you're racing on, whether it's grass, cement, or like dirt or mud. They all have different qualities. You can get different tires for that. But more importantly, if you've never seen an off-road course for ATV stuff, they often get into just hilly moments, right?
Yeah.
And then also micro bumps.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tune your suspension to either be good at a straightaway, so that way your car is more stable when you're going at high speeds, or you can loosen it up more so you go over those micro bumps smoother. And you get to retune your vehicle for every single race in the story mode. Like you'll do part 1 of a 4-part thing, and then you literally can jump back and retune it and jump back in. It is an amazing amount of physics depth with a really good feeling. Yes, it's just like Yakuza, of course. Chris, how is Yakuza 0 Pocket Circuit? Is chat lying again? Chris is like, I'm asleep. What the fuck is...
I'm going to be real. Every time I ever had to engage with Pocket Circuit, I looked up a guide to get a car that won every single race with no effort on my part.
Wow, it's like me and Gran Turismo.
we have 85 other hours of content to do in this game. I'm here to complete the sub-stories so I can fight the bonus boss, which I have never done in Yakuza 0, by the way. I have never actually fought the bonus boss because one of the sub-stories requires you to delineate a different sounding voice of women speaking Japanese, and I am physically incapable of doing that. Or I could just spend hours playing the minigame over and over and over and hoping I luck out.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
Actually, I think I gave up pretty quick in the English version. I tried for a while in the Japanese version. I don't know if the English version added a way to tell. I probably didn't even try in the English version. I'm like, fuck it, I don't care that much. I'm glad they eventually decided that they should stop locking the bonus boss behind. Do every other thing in the game. Every single other thing.
I don't know. I might have gone back and 100%ed like a Dragon 8 if they did that. But instead I was like, oh, that's deviant behavior. I have other games to get onto. And then this fucking thing popped into my life. Like, you're not a game that came out this year. Oh, God.
What am I doing?
I spent 6 hours playing a completely delightful 9 or 10 out of 10 PS2 game I've never played before. Oh, wait, this is the dream. Why am I complaining? If you could all be so lucky as to walk into a retro game store and randomly pick up a $5 game that's one of the best you've ever played, that really actually ranks up there for like PS2 games. Seriously, I can't imagine. Just because $5.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Oh, shout out to a similar mini game in Yakuza 5 that I think they actually fixed this one in the remastered version on PS4. You had to participate in a manzai competition with a guy. And that meant hitting the button. You were the straight man, so you had to hit the button to react at the proper time. Guess what I can't fucking tell when they're speaking Japanese? I think that the remastered version added like a karaoke ball to give you some, but maybe I'm even making that up.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
Yeah,
they added a UI to it, okay.
I'm glad they properly started localizing these games at some point.
Right.
They're still like, it's dubbed quotation marks.
I'm okay. I didn't hit a point in playing like a Dragon 8 where I was like, oh, this is terrible. They completely...
Yeah, they kind of half-assed it by putting half the game in Hawaii so they could be like, well, it makes sense that the goons yell in Japanese in Japan, even though your characters all speak English.
But I had no problem playing it because of that. And that's the important part, that I could fully appreciate what the hell they're doing instead of being like, bro, I don't know how to play this because they're not speaking my language at all. Aside from that, I tested out some other PS2 games we picked up. If I could put out another PSA, a much shorter one. You know, this is Reading Rainbow. Don't trust me. Go try it yourself. ATV Off-Road Fury 4. Based on the comment section, PS2 emulators are perfect, so try it now. God, could you imagine someone tries it and they're like, this is broken as hell. Does no one who works on the simulator ever play an Off-Road Fury game? And it's like, yeah, probably not. Greatest hits, it sold well. Anyways, anti-PSA. Do not buy Mercury Meltdown Remix for the PS2. I know Archer McLean is a very convincing man, or was a very convincing man. Don't do it. It's not good. It's Mercury, the game on PSP, was a very convincing idea for a game at the time because it's like, whoa, look at how cool that looks, and it's on a portable.
Right. Yeah, it loses all of that when it goes to a console.
Not only that, it didn't even look that good for a PS2 game.
No.
Better than the goddamn PS3 PSN version. See, Bob, it must exist because someone in chat's yelling about it too. While playing this, I was like, Bob, didn't they make a PS3 Mercury? He's like, I don't remember that. And then we brought up that PSP game Crush again with the really weird 2D, 3D mechanic. Oh, they're talking about Gradius 5. Oh, okay. So still, it's up in the air.
We don't know.
No one knows. You can't prove whether or not they made a digital version of Mercury for the PS3. Oh, is the PS3 version a port of Meltdown? Does it run right this time?
Probably not, man.
Please? Anyway. Oh, the compatibility list states all the ATV Off-Road Fury games are playable. That means perfect, right? They both start with P. Yeah, aside from that, I don't really have any stories. Valkyrie Profile 2 is a very pretty game. That's it.
Yeah, I always thought it looked kind of weird.
It's
something about the faces, I think.
I was talking to Bob about how I like the faces in both Orphan Scion of Sorcery and the bouncer so much more than Valkyrie Profile 2, even though you can look at the models in Valkyrie Profile 2 and be like, that is way higher fidelity.
Right, like you were saying, it is just Triace face problem. I don't know why it keeps coming and going.
Is it like, well, we're adapting this guy's art, the face is fucked up.
We must stay faithful. I don't know. It's kind of like the Visions of Mana thing. You look at the art for the characters, and I'm like, that looks great. And then you see the 3D models they've made for it, and you're like, bro, why are they like weird potato people? What did you do to their faces? Everyone has a shellfish allergy, but they won't stop eating shellfish.
That sounds like it could be canonically true in that universe.
Well, I'm off to eat a giant bucket of shrimp. Because it's based. This is what I've been tossed and taught since I was a child.
Just sitting there in gynecology stirrups, desperately trying to hand someone a baseball bat. The tree needs this!
What else? Well, I guess that's it for my indie adventure, my independent adventure of going through PS2 games. We own duplicates of too many games. This is why I had to catalog all the games we have because, oh my God, I entered in a spreadsheet. Regrettably, I also entered digital games on PlayStation. I still haven't done it for PS3 or any of the Xbox stuff. Because I don't own that many digital Xbox games, and the PS3 is going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, it's a nightmare.
But it was over 1,000 entries that I hand typed. Yeah, it was terrible. Getting dual ownership of a PS4 game as both a PS4 game and a PS5 game certainly made that a much longer list and time. But it's done, and now hopefully I will never buy a duplicate of a game ever again, Bob. We have 3 copies of PlayStation All-Stars on the move.
Yeah, of course. Of course we would.
Most humans shouldn't own 1 copy of PlayStation Move Heroes as it actually shipped under the title of. I still think that first name's much better. It reminds me of Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. You would assume halfway through Jack or Daxter is going to scare you away from heroin. Way better name.
Looking at the cover art, though, you'd be like, oh, no, they're probably going to introduce me to heroin.
It's true. Their faces are really fucked up in that game.
They look like they're, you know how they make Kirby angry for the US box art? It's like those versions of all
US characters.
US characters, yeah.
They put them through the filter again. That's made, for people who don't know, PlayStation Move Heroes is made by the people who were working on StarCraft Ghost. You might know that game didn't ship. And the Vita Call of Duty? So I'm very excited for the day we finally stream that. We're not doing that this Friday, though.
What is that, Nihilist?
Yeah, Nihilist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This Friday, we're doing Assassin's Creed Shadow on the superior PlayStation 5 Professional.
Ooh.
Which means we won't get to see... Because they authored all the content in the game to have ray tracing, and then when you turn on the performance mode, it gets rid of the ray traced baked illumination, or it turns off the ray traced global illumination, and it rolls back to a really poorly done baked lighting, and it looks horrible.
Yeah, part of me wonders if, like, a few weeks later they're gonna release patches like, yeah, no, the
I feel like the game's too big for that.
Maybe.
Like Indiana Jones, it was feasible because
right.
the game isn't. It isn't Assassin's Creed big.
No, it's not. Assassin's Creed games are too big. That's their thing.
So the cool thing is on the Pro, it keeps that ray trace global illumination, but it runs at 60 frames per second. I'm like, hey, that was the idea of the console. The first game to ship with the idea of the console. Except for Sony games, which already look fine. So that's neat.
Uh-huh.
Still gonna have ghosting because it's using Ubisoft TAA instead of Pisser, which, you know, I would rather them use their own TAA than have a completely fucked up version of Pisser, but enough people have shipped a decent version of the game with Pisser that I just don't buy that you couldn't.
Right.
Well, they had to spend every second trying to get the game to not be on fire because it was a Ubisoft game, meaning the 6 months ago when they were going to ship it, it was on fire.
Right.
Yeah, Chris, have you seen any footage of that game? Have you seen like actual gameplay from now that it's out?
It looks unbelievably expensive. I don't think it can sell enough copies to make a profit.
You can literally chop everything in half like it's Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah, no, it's
That's insane.
Unless it's inside of a shrine.
They just did that update, yeah. Apparently there's a Japanese government thing of like, yeah, don't deface shrines.
Allegedly, the credits of that game are 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
No surprise there.
Not surprised in the least. Okay, cool. I have a picture from the Digital Foundry video showing off the PS5 performance and PS5 Pro performance. So if you were ever curious, what the hell did what Dan say mean? This game was clearly authored for the thing on the right.
Yeah.
And then when they found out people wanted a performance mode, they sure backported it to that ugly, horrible thing on the left. That is straight up a generational difference.
Yeah.
Good.
That is what it looks like when you make your game for ray tracing and then turn it off and go, don't worry, we have a solution. Yeah, so anyway, I'm glad we get to play a remotely decent looking version of that game. And I'm even more thrilled that the PS5 Pro had a point.
Yeah, I still wish there were ways to just turn it off on the PS5 Pro so you could see what it looked like with sound.
Yeah, because that would be something we would do 20 times during that stream.
Yeah, no, that'd be really interesting. It might even be able to run a higher res and have less TAA look. And that'd be really appreciated. There is a world where it's like, yeah, no, I don't care if the lighting looks terrible. I don't want to see the goo.
Could you imagine a world where you turn off the ray tracing and somehow that gives you enough performance overhead where they can do the pisser then?
Right?
Then it's like, oh no, you're making me choose between good TAA and everything not looking like a horrible meat person. I don't like this.
Sounds like a great flop swap.
Yeah, Bob, why don't we just get it on both consoles and swap the 80-hour video game over and over?
Ugh.
Yeah, here's another picture for anyone who... Because, like, the weakness of such an idea is the interiors. This is why, like, so many Unreal Engine 5 games... When you enter the interior of any fucking building, it looks like the thing on the left. Because they don't have the resolution or the ray tracing power on these fucking consoles to do the thing on the right. So they keep having weird, glowy, saturation, all fucked up interiors. It's like, oh, thank you, Unreal Engine 5.
It's almost like if you just tailored your content to not worry about ray tracing, you wouldn't have to waste your time worrying about ray tracing and just making it look good.
Bob, no, I've been told that by using ray tracing, the game was cheaper to make, easier to make, and looks like the future.
They didn't just have to make the game twice lighting-wise. Definitely not that.
No, they made it once lighting-wise, and then they didn't give a shit how it looked in performance mode.
Cool.
Because the cutscenes run at 30 on everything. Which I cannot stress enough. That's what I want. I don't want to choose a fidelity mode and have the cutscenes look like ass because I want the game to play good.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you. I like seeing the high quality animations you made in hair shit during a cutscene. I don't like seeing that at the cost of playing the game and it feeling good during the gameplay.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that this has a performance mode at all is like an unqualified frame rate victory. Like, if you're still arguing about it, you should be sent to the gulag. Like, you lost.
No.
Your side lost this war.
No, the fact
It's over.
The fact that it has ray tracing the quality mode means I'm winning.
Yeah, that's in fact the only mode anyone should play. It's like,
well, they're not gonna. Ubisoft put the other mode in very quickly, obviously, because that isn't true.
Yeah, people care. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. The PS5 Pro, the perfect console for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
if people don't show up to the stream tomorrow, I'm just convinced nobody in our fan base likes ninjas.
Do you hear what's at stake? This is important. Wake up, people. It can't be that they don't like Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft,
or but they don't like Ninja Scroll. They don't like,
or that they're playing it themselves.
No,
I mean,
that's not happening. It's $70.
I wouldn't suspect our fan base of this, but it could be a completely different group of people they don't like.
Oh yeah, for Assassin's Creed Shadows, I haven't heard of anyone who would just be weirdly irate about any other groups of ninjas or other characters in it of a certain Assassin's Creed that they would have a problem with. What the fuck is wrong with this? I don't know. Whatever. They're penniless. No one fucking cares if they're angry. The problem is it's not going to sell because Ubisoft has done everything to ruin their reputation.
They have.
If they released this shit during the PS4 generation, it would have sold numbers.
Man, they even made that really good ad for Brazil.
They did, yeah.
This seems to be doing pretty good. We'll see if it beats it. Like, this is the problem. This is transparently the most expensive Assassin's Creed game ever made. Therefore, it follows that it needs to be obviously the best-selling one ever made, and it doesn't seem like that.
You're not going to do that because
confirmed
COVID buff
yet.
Gave what Valhalla the most insane amount of sales?
25 million sales or some But there's also the element of like, even if this is successful, it's like, guess what, Ubisoft, this was a one-time thing. Everybody wanted the Japan one. You can't do this again.
You know, I was literally sitting there thinking about this game and looking at it and being like, oh, that looks great. If only they could make a sequel. Wait, they can. They can make a sequel. No one's stopping them from making a sequel. Why are they not? Why wouldn't they just make another one set in Japan? Guys,
they've done that before and just had like massive DLC.
Well, they did the Assassin's Creed 2 thing.
They also did 3 different versions of Assassin's Creed 2. Yeah.
You can do that.
I don't know.
They wanted them to make a Black Flag 2, and then they wouldn't.
That's true. But I think what Chris is saying that he doesn't think that they'll.
Like, it's like a pressure valve that got released. It's not gonna. It's like the same thing as Hogwarts Legacy. Or
I mean, to some extent, sure, but it would help them make a profit if they took this really expensive thing they made and made an iterative game based on it, because then it wouldn't have to sell as well as Valhalla because it cost way less to make.
Yes, that would be smart. Unfortunately, Ubisoft is entirely about making fungible games that will be forgotten when the next one comes out.
I have to wonder if there's any traces left in this game of it being part of that bigger project where it was supposed to be part of the start of that separate bootable Assassin's Creed
the
platform.
Weird Assassin's Creed Nexus or hub.
Right. I assume all that's just gone.
I feel like that probably wasn't even really a thing except a layer you booted into before booting into this game wherein they could show you ads.
Right. That's what it sounded like, but I don't think any of that's going to be left.
And then they learned from Microsoft and Gearbox that you can just put ads in your game, whatever. You can do a fucking push notification to my phone telling me to buy Avowed because I have the fucking Battle.net app to log into WoW with.
Will it work?
Will he be fooled?
No.
Oh.
I might play it here in a couple weeks when I get 3 months of Game Pass to play 7 games with.
The closest thing, we have someone in chat saying that there's an entire menu to switch to the other Assassin's Creed games, kind of like Call of Duty does in this game. So at very least that...
I guess some part of it's still there then.
That's the thinnest layer of delivering on what they said they would do.
You can boot into an entirely different game from inside Shadows?
That's what they're saying, and that's what Call of Duty does.
Right? That's so weird.
It's stupid.
That's like...
hideously
somehow
stupid.
even stupider than the Call of Duty one.
Speaking of which, if I remember correctly, Call of Duty hasn't had the most recent one and the one before didn't have a platinum because they do that.
Oh.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they're just trophy subsets of the larger trophy set.
Weird.
I think, what was it? Mystic Ryan from Let's Talk PlayStation was talking about that. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah, I don't.
Stupid. You
What is
literally
this range fighter that they have? It makes no sense. Nobody. This isn't tricking anyone. If anything, it's not. It couldn't possibly be helping you in any way.
It's so dumb. Anyway, I'm really excited for Friday's stream, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, no shit. I am actually thrilled for this. I live for this. I'm definitely not excited just because I have a PS5 Pro. I promise.
Yeah, that's honestly, seeing that comparison you post is like, oh, I guess I'll stay off this even when it's cheaper. I can play it in 2029 when the PS6 comes out.
You know, I was going to mention it in news, but now seems like an appropriate time to mention it. Mark Cerny announced that they're going to port FSR 4, the first good version of FSR, to the PS5 Pro in 2026.
Yeah, what?
I bought a console in 2024 where the full execution of the entire reason it exists will only come online in 2026. What a world we live in.
Fell for it again.
It's such a bizarre thing. I've never seen this. I don't even know what sort of comparison you can draw with any existing thing. The closest is the Apple Intelligence shit, where you bought an iPhone for the AI. Oops, the AI is not in it. Don't worry, it's coming. Ignore the fact we just deleted all this marketing saying it's...
And nobody actually bought the phone for the AI.
Yeah, it's not
true.
That was like the whole thing with the PS3.
It's a weird situation when an industry invents a new problem it then has to invent solutions for.
On a related note. But anyway, for people who don't know, FSR 4, it looks superior to Pisser in some ways. I'm curious how that's going to go off. If I were to make some cynical bets now, there's not an insane amount of machine learning processing in the PS5 Pro. Mm-hmm. So whatever they do is going to be a lesser version from what, on paper anyway, from what the GPU they just shipped, which I forgot the name of because they changed the numbering scheme. I'm sorry, AMD, you fucked this up this hard. I can't remember. Is it 9070 XT? Anyway, it has a much lower amount of machine learning processing. So I imagine it's a lesser version. Mm-hmm. We'll have to see whenever that finishes next year. This is good. So about inventing problems, Bob and I played Half-Life 2 RTX. Oh my God. Chris, have you seen Half-Life 2 RTX?
No. Okay. I assume it looks like shit.
Let me just real quick, for people who don't know what the hell Half-Life 2 RTX is, run through it. Half-Life 2 RTX is using the NVIDIA Remix system, the RTX Remix system, which is a way of taking older games, much older games, and injecting ray tracing and redoing materials. It's basically, here's our tool set for you to mod these games specifically to put in ray tracing and all these other technologies. This is Half-Life 2. It's before they've done Portal RTX. I talked about that on the podcast. And now they've done Half-Life 2 RTX, except this thing has been in development for quite some time. All they have done is 2 levels. Ravenholm and was it Alpha Prospect or Alpha Project?
It's Project something. It's like, I think it's a project, but in a different language.
Prospect, okay. Nova Prospect, there we go.
Oh.
So, it is 2 levels. 2 levels. These are not the biggest levels in Half-Life 2 either.
No,
and it is
by no
2
means.
levels. These are not 2 loading checkpoints, but honestly, the Nova Prospect was short enough where it's like it had 3 or 4. Do you remember?
I didn't beat that one, so I don't know.
This game, and I need you to listen. This is taking forever. Taking a chunk of time. It has 2 levels done, and it is 90 gigabytes. So this will be like 5 times the size of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth if it ships.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows, 100 gigabytes. That's a whole game, not 2 levels from Half-Life 2.
Did Shadows come on 2 discs?
No.
No, if it's on a quad layer Blu-ray.
It said it just had a... Oh. Why the fuck was Rebirth on 2 discs?
It probably went slightly over.
I think that was like 110 or something.
Yeah,
I guess they wanted people to be able to install the entire game from a disc instead of, download 40 gigabytes.
Yeah, because Assassin's Creed, from what it was saying, because it reads off the download on a separate menu, it sounded like it was 102 gigs, but I didn't stare at the menus.
Right.
Like, I didn't go and...
It requires additional download.
So
it did require something, but it looked like the disc install was 100 gigs, and there was more to download.
Yeah, because that's how much quad layer Blu-ray stores. It's like 100. So again, 90 gigabytes. For people who've forgotten, I'm running a 4090 and a 9800X 3D CPU. This is the second best gaming PC you can build in the world. The only way you beat it is with a 5090. Bob.
Yeah.
Tell them.
What about it exactly? It looks ugly. It runs really bad. It has an insane use of like DLSS and still runs bad and looks bad. I don't know what else to say. It's a nightmare.
This game was running, once I turned off frame gen, at about 30 frames per second on my 4K monitor.
Yeah, it wasn't stable at that either. By no means.
No, it was spiking up and down like crazy. Countless things in it just objectively looked terrible. So, Ravenholm has a lot of volumetrics and things in this, smoke, fog, etc. If you move backwards through any of it, and we weren't doing this to get it to break. I was just backing up because enemies are coming at me. Because I know some insane person's going to be like, that's not a natural way to play the game. Why would you ever back up? I've beaten Half-Life 2 so many times, I never back up. I stand my ground. If you back up, it doesn't have prior frames to pull from. So the entire sky above you becomes an insane, noisy, splotchy nightmare as it starts appearing over your head and flying away from you.
Every effect, like fire or blood splatters
or shadows
or any of that, it's just like they don't have nearly good enough a new image for it. It just looks hideous. Like,
fire's the peak of that.
Yeah, it's like only a few frames of fire. It's like looking at a fire GIF going in the world that is now like upgrade fidelity wise insanely.
It genuinely looks like if you took a GIF of fire and you fed it into the RetroTink 4K and you're like, RetroTink, turn this HDR. And it just became the brightest, most saturated fucking thing it could. Which, by the way, they actually have a different NVIDIA technology for that.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they have, I think it's RTX HDR or something, where you can turn your SDR games into HDR. I haven't even messed with that in the least because I'm like, whatever, we'll wait till we get the 3400 nit TV. And then we'll turn RTX HDR on and watch our fucking faces melt. So yeah, everything in it is a gooey, noisy, terrible nightmare. It feels like ass compared to playing a remotely decent PC over the last a little under 2 decades. Playing Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I swear my PC at launch made it run better than this, which is crazy. Obviously, I wasn't cutting edge at the time.
It is truly bewildering because what we're trying to tell you is, like, objectively speaking, when it comes to image quality, it looks terrible on a 4090. But more importantly, artistically, a lot of it is completely unlevel, misshapen, horrible. There's so much more beauty in what the original thing is than how it looks here. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. I'm a person who thinks Quake 2 RTX looks cool. I think that looks neat. I think Super Mario 64 RTX looks cool. I think that looks neat.
Yeah, maybe just put the lighting in and don't do any of the stuff with remaking every single texture in the game.
What was it? I was hanging out with a friend, and one of my friends was like, the head crabs look like chicken. Because, like, you know what head crabs look like, but it literally looks like chicken with the skin on.
It kind of looks like that, which is kind of like that didn't bother me because I'm like, I guess that's an interpretation I understand. Like, I see it,
and I thought that was the funniest comparison. It's so many different layers of it that are just weird and off and terrible. And I hate playing it like this. The fact that, like, I don't know, maybe I should have decimated the resolution, right? Just all the way down.
Yeah, then the shadows wouldn't have the massive trails over every single one of them.
Because I had it in DLSS quality, because that means you're feeding a higher resolution image into it, right? A higher resolution video feed. So that way it has more pixels to work with and things would melt less. But since it uses ray reconstruction and all these other things, that doesn't matter. The whole thing's noisy and terrible looking, period. It's genuinely staggering. So, no, this is not an official Valve thing. A mod group is making this, and NVIDIA keeps using it as a marketing tool to sell GPUs. That's the whole system. That's how all this works.
That's so bizarre.
NVIDIA makes the RTX Remix thing to hype up ray tracing and other things. They oversell how easy it is to do things with this. And then these modders make this, and presumably they provide support with whether it's giving the mod team some sort of like hardware, like 5090s, or helping them with engineering assistance. But ultimately, it's NVIDIA made a completely impractical way to add ray tracing in a performant way to old games. And then they get to use the still images from it where you don't move at all as marketing material for their $2,000 GPUs.
Yeah.
Sorry, $2,000 MSRP GPUs that aren't real. 3,000
GPUs
if you're lucky and can get one. It's really crazy. It's genuinely nuts. And I'm just going to baseline explain how this technology works. The RTX Remix thing, the reason it has to be such old games is because it's using a very old version of DirectX, if I remember. It may be OpenGL. Pretty sure it's DirectX, where RTX Remix works as an interjection layer. It's an injection technology. It sits between your hardware and the game itself using that API, and it basically does an API interrupt every time it goes, draw this thing. And then RTX Remix comes in and, no, not that thing, this thing, do this. And it just, that's the way it works. It's not doing it offline to the native code base. It is like running an emulation layer in the middle of you in the game.
Weird.
Which is why it's not performant at all. It's almost like you're doing a just-in-time compilation for all of the 3D graphics in a way.
Yeah, this seems real dumb.
So you would think then that the strength would be
still images, yeah.
You would think the stress would be, and Bob's like, a banger press kit.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, basically. You think the strength would be in how easy it is to make stuff with it. But we've known about the Half-Life 2 one long enough, and all they've gotten done is 2 levels that it makes me go, that can't be that easy.
Right.
Especially not when those 2 levels are 90 gigabytes. So really, when you get down into it, I don't think this is a feasible or good way to enjoy the core game. Like Quake 2 RTX, feasible way to enjoy that game. Super Mario 64 with ray tracing, feasible way to enjoy that game. Believe me, I've done it many times. This is not a good or performant way to enjoy this, and I have the second strongest GPU in the world. The second strongest PC in the world. Between this and how Avowed runs on my PC, I am getting more and more black-pilled in the first quarter of this year alone on high-end PC gaming than ever before, because Moore's Law is dead.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's fully, like, NVIDIA clearly has, but I don't think anybody else has really caught on, like, oh shit, there's the future we are proofing these games for isn't real.
We aren't reaching it. A select few who are rich might. Barely. Because if my GPU is doing it, if my GPU is running this at 30 frames per second in 4K, quality DLSS, which means it's actually like 1080p, what hope does the next generation, the 6000 series, have anywhere below the $1,000 threshold?
Yeah, no, it's impossible.
Well, don't worry, Dan. NVIDIA just has to completely convince the consumer of what size PCs should be. We need to go back to PCs being the size of a refrigerator. Or not PCs. PCs never were, but computers used to be the size of a refrigerator. The 6090 is going to be as big as your case by itself.
And it will cost $10,000.
Oh, wow. Well,
and have 12 gigs of VRAM.
Yeah, you need to wait for the Pro version to get even 1 more gig of VRAM.
So to really, really break this down, the people who make these technologies say this is the future, but they also say AI is going to play an increasingly important role in it. And we're going to figure out this ray tracing, and it's going to happen. We're almost there. We just got to drive this truck off the mountaintop at a high enough speed to get across the canyon. We just got to make that jump.
Yeah, we've discussed like how people will say, "Oh no, my studio isn't being shut down," and then 2 days later, it'll be shut down because they didn't know. I feel like that's going to happen to the entire AI industry. Like that will be what will happen. The people out here saying everything's the future, executives will be like, "Oh, we're pulling all funding from that, every cent."
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny because NVIDIA just announced like the next 2 waves of GPUs in the AI space. They gave code names and dates, or rough dates and everything. I'm like, bro. Bro.
Yeah, they're all in.
But you know who
I will be happy to see them completely collapse as a company.
But you know who's also in? And I should have edited this into the thumbnail. Maybe I could go back and do that for the YouTube release.
Okay.
Yum Corporation. They announced that they're teaming up with NVIDIA to get all in on AI for Taco Bell and other things.
Look, Taco Bell and KFC have all gone downhill anyway. They can all shutter. It's fine.
Look,
what use can AI be to KFC or Taco Bell?
I'm going to tell you. We, as a species, are coming up to the hard-bounded limit of permutations of refried beans, shredded cheese, and ground beef. We can interact with a tortilla. We need a bold new strategy. We need
this is his armchair
to
voice.
bow before the machine mind to invent new forms of fake Mexican words.
It's gonna see the AI products they cook up. It'll be like when Reggie fucked up with the big New Yorker pizza. You don't know this. Reggie Fils-Aimé used to be a CEO of Pizza Hut before Nintendo, and he came up with the big New York pizza. And then Pizza Hut was like, "Teenagers can't make this."
I thought
we
was
lost our ass
very
and
successful.
No, behind the scenes, it was wildly unsuccessful because there was so much waste because it was really hard for teenagers to make.
Oh,
I mean, that is a thing that every fast food place has ever hit, where it's like, okay, good idea. Now run it in a test kitchen. Have them do it. No. So you food scientists are cool, but have the teenager make and then they pull up the thing, the drinkified tortilla.
Yeah, it's gonna be make the origami crane chalupa.
The last beanicorn? I don't like this AI. This is a terrible
What
dish.
Adventure Time episode is this?
yeah, it is AI. It'll just be something blatantly stolen.
AI, you just named this Bazinga.
Like I can imagine like some really tired looking 20-year-old sliding a tray across a counter and the customer pointing up at the clearly AI generated image of the menu item saying, "That looks nothing like that." And the guy with the name tag going, "I need you to look me in the eyes and make a decision about the kind of person you want to be right now."
See, I thought he was going to be like, "And I look nothing like that." And next to the dish is the person who made it in the AI image, and they have 6 fingers and they're melting.
Yeah, I can't quite get that corner fold with just 5 digits.
My normal round human eyes are not prepared to craft this food. Only this man with his wide hypnotoad-like eyes is capable of making this.
Shift manager fielding questions about corporate emails with subject lines like "Forsake the flesh, embrace the machine."
They're just like, it's like 7 pages of this every quarterly review. I just want to get to how our sales are doing.
I want to be very clear. Those emails are not being generated by the AI. It's nothing so sinister. It's just their tech bro executives saying shit like that.
Sorry, I have to read this. Un bazingo, por favor. Y más queso en la bazinga. I'm sorry, sir. What? What is the problem? We are all out of bazinga. You can't be out of the bazinga sauce. That's the whole reason I came. What the fuck are they going to do with AI? Anyways, Half-Life 2
wage
RTX.
theft. Honestly, that's the real answer. It's wage theft.
Yeah,
they're going to come up with a complicated AI-driven scheduling process to steal money from teenagers.
And they already don't have people running the counter.
Yeah,
They've already eliminated that job.
Yeah.
What else is there to take?
Oh no, when we talk wage theft, we literally mean wage theft of they misreport hours.
There we go.
Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Arrow. They're already doing that.
Well, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, but
this will be
there's
fun...
an AI involved, they can't be sued for it because they can blame the AI.
That's true. Here's a fun call to action. Hey, listener, if you've ever been the victim of wage theft, sound off in the comment section. I have, Bob. You?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't work retail that long, or else I'd be in prison.
Yep.
Because if I found out if my boss was stealing from me.
It is worth noting the voice of the Twink Catboy are not the lines he says are not legally actionable things. He is a personality on a variety show. We are not a news show.
I'm just saying. Some people have a little too much faith in the law protecting them.
Mm-hmm. No, that is true.
God, it always blew my mind how much of a culture that GameStop had built was their managers of like working overtime and not being paid for it.
Oh yeah, CVS did the same thing.
And
that's a lot of companies. That's fucking Starbucks also.
Yeah, and they used to be God, what's it salaried? So that was their cheat code for I don't need to report these hours, so I can work whatever.
Yeah, and
when they switched off of that, they had to start reporting it, and they got upset because that meant they couldn't stay in the store for 70 hours. Which is insane. It's
we need to study those people's brains so no one else ends up like them. It's like people who have horrible head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like we have to study their brains so that nobody else has to suffer this fate. That's for people who want to willingly give free money to GameStop or Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
And when Ubisoft makes a good game, I'll tip them. Sorry, my brain immediately went to that guy.
Oh.
I'm sorry, that's dizzying.
Yeah.
Anyway, aside from all those random notes of what we just talked about, I also found out Cafe Bustelo makes the cold brew now. It was pretty good. I tried it out at Publix. It was 2 for $6. It was pretty good. You ever try Cafe Bustelo, chat? Has anyone in this call other than me had Cafe Bustelo
I tried
coffee?
it a second ago.
Yeah, did you like that?
It's okay. It's not as good as Stoke though.
I mean, no, it's a different thing from Stoke. And also, honestly, I think my thing is I want it halfway between the completely unsugared version and the sugared version. 110 calories.
I've never had
per
it like
serving
pretty made. I've had it ground before.
Okay,
like
well,
once.
yeah. Tosh is a fan of Cafe Bustelo. In fact, if you look over there, Bob, on the second shelf, the yellow tub.
Oh,
that's Cafe Bustelo normal.
Yeah, it's more acidic, and I don't like that as much as
Yeah. That is true.
Others.
It's a lot more acidic, which, depending on what you go for a coffee brand, it'll have more or less of that. That's the beauty of coffee. You can fuck it up in so many ways. so many ways. I kept saying to Bob we should have done with our friend Masami, my friend Masami, who also played Half-Life 2 RTX, the exact opposite. Not for the sake of being the opposite of them, but ultimately what it would become the exact opposite of the Digital Foundry video on Half-Life 2, where instead of the whole time just being excited about how it looks and being like, oh, wow, graphics have come so far, just the whole time being like, God, it's all melting. This looks like a nightmare. Help! Help! Why won't someone help?
The weird thing about it, there are certain things that even though it's only 2 levels, they just aren't updated at all, or maybe updated with really terrible looking textures.
I think I still have... Yeah, I think I could pull up some of the ones, because it happens so much that we didn't like screen cap.
It's like that second area they made, the Prospect
Nova
Alpha.
Prospect. You're talking about this, right?
Yeah,
we saved that. I can show this on screen while you talk about it.
There's like rebar and chain link fences and stuff that just blatantly old models, old texture work looks terrible.
And it's like this is a mainline path thing.
Yeah,
so it stands out like a sore thumb.
Right, that's like right in your face.
All the debris kind of looks like the stuff on the right, where it's really, really low geometry. Even.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't see much of a geometrical upgrade in a lot of it. And it's like, how do they make it run this bad? Like, high-res textures and ray tracing, that's like it.
The weirdest part for me isn't even that end of it, Bob. The weirdest part for me when it comes to this is we were in dark areas using the gravity gun, which glows orange. Most of the time, it would not illuminate anything around us. Even sometimes when I would push up against the wall, it wouldn't, and then it would like 2 feet down the hallway.
Yeah, it would only work sometimes, which if it didn't work at all, I'd understand
it would be like,
what was going on.
They couldn't figure it out.
Right, but if it works sometimes, just makes me like, this is just broken.
Yeah, it's so uneven. It's so noisy, and it doesn't feel like it looks right at all. And I had the same feeling you did with that one gun. It's like a rapid fire gun, pretty sizable, AK adjacent, I suppose, but futury because Half-Life.
Yeah, futuristic machine gun thing.
Where both of us just looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really look how I... Yeah, like something about how they redid it.
Yeah, the way they textured it is like, it didn't look shiny enough, and it also looked like it had AI-generated text on it.
Yeah, you were looking at one piece of text on it, and you're like, that's like fucking, what is this? It's like AI generated.
And also, whenever I hit the ground with a crowbar or any gun, like in the second area, a rainbow goo would prop out.
Yeah, for some reason, the spray coming out of it would change colors, and it would be really saturated blue most of the time.
Yeah, blue or green, one of the two.
And that was really weird because it was just tile on cement.
It was black and white tile.
Anyway, Half-Life 2 RTX, it's genuinely terrible, and I really hate RTX Remix being this infeasible, completely lacking performance thing that just serves as a marketing tool for NVIDIA. Because the notion that people are putting this much time into creating a thing that ultimately is only that is depressing to me. Yeah. That is ultimately why I do not like this. Because you get these pretty promo images, a pretty bad experience playing it, and it's all done via the labor of passionate people who probably should be making something more practical that is this notion, right?
Right.
This isn't just we put ray tracing in this game. This is we used NVIDIA's proprietary tools to make a completely lacking in performance, proprietary to NVIDIA thing, which runs like shit even on the second strongest GPU in the world.
Yeah, you could almost certainly do something comparable making a regular mod.
You could, through a large amount of effort, make this sort of thing for a lower fidelity game, and then it would run cross-platform and other stuff. But yeah, I find its use as a marketing tool kind of loathsome, and I find its waste of human time as exhausting and depressing. Because I'm all for mods and fan projects. It just
But now it's become corporate and gross.
Literally. And there are lots of people, because it's just called Half-Life 2 RTX. People will think that, if I buy a new GPU, I can play Half-Life 2 with ray tracing.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, well, which GPU? And also, buddy, it's not done. And when it is done, my God, is it going to be 500 gigabytes? Because it's so huge already. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm pretty much done. I got my opinion on this across. Bob, do you have anything else you want?
There's really not much else to add to this. Why'd you do it?
There's one funny thing. I forgot to take a picture of it. When Masumi was going through it, you know the guy you see the face of immediately when you arrive in Half-Life 2. You get off the train and he's on the giant TV and he's talking. They had a poster that was just from the original game that featured that model and it had the text and stuff. They didn't gussy it up at all. It's just him, and I'm like, this doesn't fit. So that was funny. Oh, I guess someone just joined us and missed it. This demo that has 2 levels is 90 gigabytes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's just goes more to the show. Hey, they're not even done making the textures for these 2 areas, and these 2 areas are the only thing that are done.
Yeah, I genuinely believe there's no way that this is finishing. I will be shocked if it finishes.
There's 12 levels in
13.
13? Okay.
13.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
And you might notice they specifically chose ones where the character models you interact with are very, very, very far away from you. You know, Ravenholm's a guy standing on a ledge across the street.
It's true.
And his model did not look as high quality even then as the other stuff. And depending on what settings you're using, he was melting. Oh, yeah, I'm also getting recommended that YouTube video about some guy getting Half-Life 2 to run on 8 megabytes of RAM. It could be interesting, but playing this and seeing how hideous and gross and misuse of hardware it is, I just sit there and go, I would rather play it on the Xbox original. I would rather play Half-Life 2 on the Xbox original because I will be impressed. This doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
You burning $10,000 doesn't impress me, bro. What impresses me is you getting that shit running on a laptop PC from 2001, basically, that is the Xbox Originals hardware. That's impressive. You making my room fucking hot because Bob played this for 40 minutes or something. I'm not impressed. Oh, yeah, it also crashed. We didn't mention that, but...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's a modern PC game. Of course it crashed.
And just to be clear, it was absolutely on the RTX end of it. It had a readout that was about the RTX end of it crashing. So let's move on. Bob.
Yeah, what's up?
I don't want to talk about Dust yet.
All right.
What have you been playing?
I played some other stuff. I played more Dynasty Warriors. Origins. So I got to another point where I could alter fate for the Wu Dynasty.
Or the Wa.
Or the Wa, or the Ooh, whatever. Every person has their own way of saying it. There is literally no voice director, I assume.
Yeah, there's no one's driving the car.
Yes. And he, as you might remember, Sun Jian, when I saved him, he's like, "Don't tell anybody I survived. Tell him I'm dead." Sun Se does the same thing. Only this one, the doctor's like, "Tell everyone he's dead."
This is like they made a complimentary piece to a TV show from back in the day. And in this side show, all the characters who died just keep showing up. And they're like, I survived, but tell no one. Okay?
Yeah, it's literally written to like affect the rest of the story as little as possible.
Yeah, of course.
Which is so frustrating.
It's fucking hilarious. Thank you for saving me. I will now affect nothing. Tell no one I'm on vacation in Kokomo. Goodbye. Yeah,
I was like, we're really doing this with both of them? This makes no sense.
Chimera in chat says it's like that Final Fantasy VII mod where Aerith lives.
Tell no one I lived.
You're right. Let Sephiroth believe I'm dead. He'll shit his pants.
I don't know how he didn't notice, but he just missed.
It's such a good
like right next to her, and then he just leaves. she falls over like she's dead, like those Zatoichi extras who often are like,
yeah,
she cut near me. I'm just gonna lay on the ground.
Sephiroth's just like doing this, and then Aerith's like, oh, I'm dead. Cool.
Other than that. That game's still pretty fun, but I do feel like the Yellow Turtle Rebellion is honestly the most impressive thing in that game.
Really?
Like has a crazy boss fight at the end of the chapter. and it always feels like it's ramping up in scale. And the rest of the game really doesn't match up to just how crazy that was.
That makes sense given what the history and story is that maybe that would happen. Yeah.
I did start to enjoy chapters 3 and 4 more than chapter 2.
Okay.
Because it starts pulling back, like you choose a faction, so you no longer talk to like 13 different generals before you can do another mission. Which technically you could skip that, but like then I'm just not playing large chunks of the game. Just like, yeah, I don't want to hear about Lubu. I don't want to hear about these guys.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about anyone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Louis Boo.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Jesus Christ. Again, literally no voice director.
It's like if no one could decide how Mario's name is said, and there's like a guy who's like, "Hey, Mario," and then everyone else is like, "Bro, Louis Boo, Louis Boo."
That reminds me, the actor who played Cyclone in Twilight of the Warriors.
I don't like this sentence, and I'm leaving right now.
He plays Lu Bu in the Dynasty Warriors movie.
I didn't get out in time, chat.
No escape.
What do you... No! I refuse! I don't want to hear that. Why?
Yeah, he does that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I needed to know this.
Yeah, no, it adds a layer to when we finally watch that.
Random anecdote, Chad. I'm finally going to have to buy that mouse like we were supposed to as part of that wave because my middle click stopped working entirely. I have been learning to hold control while in a browser.
Jesus.
And hold shift and left click while trying to open another instance of a program. This is stupid. When will I simply buy the fucking mouse?
Right? Ugh. I also played a tiny bit of Genji. God, what's this one called?
Dawn of the Blade? Dawn of the Samurai?
Dawn of the Samurai.
Yeah.
For the PS2, which is the first Genji game. Not many people know about because, Days of Blade is huge. They still make references in modern video games to it today.
You know the worst thing, Bob?
Yeah.
Is no one but the deeply damaged have any idea what you're fucking talking about. And those of us who do carry a phantom pain with us.
Look, Split Fiction referenced it last week. There is a giant enemy crab. If you guys have ever heard about a giant enemy crab, it is a reference to the 2006 E3 showcase from Sony, where they fight a giant enemy crab and talk about how it's it's a historical recreation of the samurai.
Like
Trust
the
me.
fight or the giant enemy crab?
Like both.
They kind of grouped it together. It was really unclear.
Yes.
This is quite the political statement.
But anyway, the PS2 game, I've only played like 40 minutes of it. It seems way better than the PS3 game. And it's like, oh man, I wish Game Republic got to make more PS2 games.
Bob and I had parallel but similar journeys.
Yes.
In the same week as I'm playing ATV Off-Road Fury 4. I'm just like, bro, why did I play Motorstorm?
But yeah, Genji, the first one has like a world map you can go around.
Yeah.
Like different areas to select to go to, which are each smaller maps that are self-contained, but still like it feels like a bigger world because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's going to be more variety in what you do and returning locations properly working out later on.
Yeah.
And having any sort of interesting structure.
Mm-hmm. And as a cross comparison point for anyone who didn't play the PS3 Genji, the PS3 Genji instead fucking sucks.
Yes. It also runs really well. It seems just
this does.
Yeah, this does.
This does.
Unlike
Unlike
one.
that.
Because that one has really high quality models and has physics on the pots you break. Thank God.
Thank God. And the graphics are so good. You want to play that on an emulator? Should that be one of the games we try to play on PCSX3?
Jesus.
Whenever.
Sure.
Or PCS3. Whenever I get the Mac set up to do our streaming.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
It's going to be great.
It would be so fucking unreal to see that game run well at all.
It would.
Holy shit. But that's cool. It's cool that the PS2 game proves yet again superior to the PS3 game.
Mm-hmm.
Thus again proving the justice of our culture. of 7th gen fucking sucked. Yeah, playing ATV Off-Road Fury 4, I was like, wow, it was just the tools. We just needed better tools. We didn't. They can even make this fucking piece of shit hardware run an amazing game. We just needed better tools.
Yeah.
And then we jumped to the 7th gen where everything was a nightmare.
Because things need to be higher res and things need to be more realistic. And it's like, oh, man, that was a mistake.
Also, architecturally, they were not ready to run games at 60 frames per second for various reasons.
No. And the other thing I played this week, a bunch of the Atelier Yumia demo.
Oh, did you play it on the Switch?
No, I didn't play on the Switch. I didn't know it was available on the Switch.
What'd you play it on?
I played it on the PS5. I can't even imagine this running on the Switch.
On the Switch?
I've been told the Switch, unbelievably, has a toggle between performance mode and quality mode. And I'm like, yeah, that's a thing I've ever seen come out of the Switch. Quality mode graphics.
Oh, I'm sure it looks great.
So maybe, and I haven't seen it firsthand, maybe it has an uncapped frame rate and they're literally hoping the Switch 2 runs it like well.
I feel like it'll just be a Switch 2 native version.
No, that's too much work.
Maybe.
You just put the toggle in and it runs like shit on the original, and magically on the Switch 2 it runs better.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see the Switch version because this version, like what I'm playing here, already reminds me a lot of how Xenoblade looks.
Don't say that to me. I'm a broken person. I'm now more interested. That's stupid of me.
Like a large part of it is an open world. And it feels like it does this. It looks kind of low res in the way Xenoblade does, of like everything looks kind of blurry. It's very weird looking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's doing this on the PS5 of all things.
Yeah, it makes
what
you
does
curious.
this do on the Switch?
Yeah.
So I wrote a whole section here on my notes for this is a $70 game.
Yeah, that.
Why don't we have music for this segment? This should be a segment we do regularly. This is a $70 game, and then I play the music, and you just run down bullets.
Because it like the whole thing, it feels like it is trying to push the boundaries and push outside the box of what they did before and make it a more crazy, bigger ambitious experience. It had squeeze shrews.
Those have been in for a while.
Okay, that's
okay.
Last place I would expect that.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, but this is a $70 game. You hit a barrel with your stick, the barrel slowly fades out with no animation.
Does it knock over?
No. None.
No,
it just slowly fades out.
It fades out, and maybe you get some resources. It's $70 because games are $70 now. They just caught up. They just caught up to that paradigm.
They didn't though.
Maybe Rise of 3 was 70, and I just fucking.
I don't think so.
Was a rube.
I don't. Think
It's still
so.
60 on Switch for the fucking record. This is a next gen only tax or a current gen only tax now.
I mean, this keeps happening because on PC they end up charging $60 for some of these games that are $70 on PS5, Xbox, and question mark.
So no English dub, none.
It's like $70.
They've just given up on that. They've just completely given up on this. It would have been a great time for them to bring it back, but they sell well enough without having one. So why would they bring it back?
$70
in main characters. They have great looking facial details. Really worked with the eyes and made everything on the face look good. And then the next texture down, just their chest texture, you can see gigantic pixelization all over.
Hell yeah.
It. It's like,
yep.
That's awesome. That's like Monster Hunter. Chat, I wasn't.
This honestly sounds like this shipped too soon, and maybe we'll be getting some fucking enhancement patches because I don't remember that shit in any of the previous ones.
I figured it was something to do with them making it open world.
Yeah.
The last couple, like all the Ryza ones are kind of open world, like they have big Xenoblade sized areas.
Are they like legitimately huge, like Xenoblade 1?
At least Ryza 3, yeah.
Okay. I figured that was a new thing here because it seems like everything
maybe
is about
smaller than that, but they're all connected and they don't have like long loading hallways or anything. They're like Ryza 3 has 3 huge maps that you can just run through.
Huh. All right.
Also, to be clear, Chad, I wasn't saying Yumia was $60 on PC. I know it is also $70 on PC. But if your PC,
they're not getting I'm the biggest fucking Atelier fan in the world. You're not getting I'm not falling for it again. In a month, you will be 50, if not less.
But imagine you had a PS5.
Well, maybe not. They're real stupid about Atelier pricing. They keep those fucking collections of the earliest games for $90 up at $90 forever.
Jesus.
Yeah, if you want 3 games that were originally on the fucking Vita, $90, please. Sometimes it goes on sale for $62.
Yeah, the no dub thing wouldn't bother me that much if it wasn't 70, and also if they didn't have now a lot of times in the just walking around the environment, they'll just start talking. So then I'll have to realize, I need to be looking down and looking for subtitles. Hopefully they subtitled this part. And
I think it's completely farcical to have a game that's not localized with the dub for $70.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I can begin to contend with it if you don't care about mass adoption and you're 60. I just cannot understand being $70 fucking and being like, no.
Yeah, they need to learn a painful lesson.
They do.
Which maybe this will be the time this game was so inspired by Xbox franchises that just makes me think it inherently has the stink of death on it, and will just perform way worse than Ryza.
I was going to ask, this one's fully action based. Is that true of Ryza?
No,
Okay.
It has like a weird turn-based system.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This just seems completely action based. You start a battle with an enemy, and then you're locked onto them and have to like literally move and dodge. And have each face button's a different attack, and they're all
none of that that's entirely different.
And I think, at least in what I played, your allies just auto fight.
Makes sense. I mean, you controlled them in prior games, but it's a weird action game, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I always hate that sort of compromise. Like I want to feel like they are part of the team. So
personally, I honestly feel like they should be downplaying the combat more in these games. Like, it should be becoming less of a part of it.
Oh yeah, like clearly, it did not.
But yeah,
seem like that would be the fun part.
I mean, you'll get to the point where you're just, unless they completely ruined the way these games work, you'll get to the point where you're just throwing bombs from your inventory at them. Like you've made the world ender bomb and you're throwing it at them.
That seems like it'll probably happen because the first thing they had me craft was some sort of attacks item, not a bomb specifically. I think it was like a wind gust item they could use. But they've added a lot of other interactive elements to the environment. You now have a third-person shooting mode you can go into, and you can do stuff like shoot down ladders and shoot buttons.
And
yeah, they've been doing that for a while. Like Ryza got she got like an animal she could summon that could climb certain things. She got a grappling hook. She got like all these things that would let her maneuver. Like you could make a water, like a rebreather, so you could swim underwater, and it would take you to a transparently different area when you went underwater.
But I assume this is the first time third person shooting's been in, right?
Yeah, there's maybe there might have been something in one of them where you got a slingshot item and could explicitly shoot items down from trees and nothing else. But this would be the first time it's like a core gameplay mechanic.
Okay. And yeah, it seems like they have a lot of emphasis on that. And it's the first time I've been like, the puzzle was really solving shooting gun at man, basically.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder how much of that there's going to be, because they seem really proud of having gotten this working. And the funny thing is, it didn't even work right. Like the second time they had me use it, because there's like a giant fan blade with an obvious red button in the center to shoot to turn the fan off. I see that, having played a video game before, I shoot it. It doesn't do anything. I walk 2 steps closer. It has a tutorial about what I should do, and then it works.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's sure too. That's sure a tutorial. Well, you have to understand, Bob, that unironically, a lot of the people picking this game up will have never played a shooter at all in any way.
Right. It's more of like, well, it should have just worked when I shot it.
No, you have to see the tutorial activates the button. How would they give you the tutorial if you had already activated the button, Bob?
They could just put the tutorial up anyway. It's like, you already did this, but here it is. Like, just have it trigger when I walk past this threshold. It also has, you know how we were talking about last year, we had several different RPGs where you crawl in holes and like walk through them slowly?
Yes.
It's got that.
Yeah, that's all. That's been in Atelier Ryza for a while. Like in Atelier games for a while. It's usually not even like, oh, you're loading. It's just like, hope you saw this hole.
Yeah.
There's stuff on the other side.
Yeah, no, hidden holes to crawl in. And
in Ryza, it was very transparently so they could put your face in her ass.
That still kind of feels like why it's here. They also have a jumping system. You can like double jump and then wall jump, and she does like a vault and can climb walls. It doesn't seem like it works in everything, but it definitely feels like they want to have more verticality to the areas by doing that. Oh right, and sneaking, but I didn't get to see how sneaking actually gets incorporated to combat. I just had like it had a section where you could sneak, but I didn't see what happened if you got caught.
Oh,
or if you could do some sort of special move when you sneak up on someone. So yeah, the game seems neat. It starts out with like a very action oriented thing where you just play as Yumia, like. That clearly happens later in the story. Like she gets separated from her team of people. So you see like every character is going to be on your team. And then you do a tiny little tutorial stage and then fight some dude, like some anime villain sort of dude. And he knocks you out and you start remembering the past sort of thing. Like, oh yeah, this is going to be the explanation for us to recap everything that happened up to this point. It's like, okay, I kind of don't like that I saw everyone who's going to join my team already because I didn't even get to play as them.
I generally do not understand the like why starting. It's very rare that a game starts in media res, and I'm like, you were right to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't help usually. That's a hard thing to pull off and make it work.
Like sometimes I get it from like, well, we don't want to have a long story segment at the start of our game. We want to let you do something first. But it's usually bad. Usually I don't get why you did it.
And it's like still an Atelier game. I guess that they really wanted to go for the action-oriented gamer. And it's like, guys, most of this game is going to be wandering around this big open world, collecting resources and building stuff. You made that clear as soon as I got out of that an action-packed first part.
Yeah, like there ain't gonna be no shooter set piece. You're gonna collect increasingly rare and magnificent sorts of grass to then make opulent potions with, or bombs, or clay that you can then use to make opulent vases with, and possibly put explosives in the vase.
Weird question. If we got this on PC, could yours even run it?
I assume so if they have it, scaling down to the Switch.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Right?
I mean, I
check the
Switch
system requirements right now.
Even has a quality mode.
Right.
A 1080 Ti, certainly.
It does not look like...
Graphics, minimum requirements, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650.
Okay, you're good.
4 gigs of VRAM. The recommended is a 2060.
Yeah, a 1080 Ti is much stronger than a 2060. But
yeah, so it's fine.
Who knows? Maybe it's really leaning on mesh shaders. I really doubt that, but who knows? Does the Switch even have mesh shaders? I actually don't know because its hardware was sold by the time it shipped. I can't sit there and go, in 2017, no, that doesn't matter.
No, right, no.
But this is the big one, Spiff. This is the impressive, epic Atelier game.
So yeah, Yumia seems like this time they do the thing where she has a strap down between her boobs.
Yeah.
So that's instead of the big butt thing from the last one.
Yes.
And it seems like, I assume they're very horny for the back of her knees. Something about the way they rendered them made me think that.
Would someone really be horny for that? Comment section. Anything?
That's it.
Okay, that's it for that section. Thank you. We will now exit that section. I'm going to turn off my background inhibitors, El Doctor, in order to show you all, because I thought it was interesting, a couple things real quick. Let's, there we go. Cool. Great. I own this. Cataloging all my movies and shit. I found out I own the Broly 2-pack on
Blu-ray. Yeah. Of course. Who doesn't?
I think who I mean, obviously, Chris and Agro also both own Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, and Broly, the Second Coming. No,
I don't keep garbage around my house.
No one actually owns Bio Broly. No human on Earth. Of course not. But I was also going to show real quick these bags just because I think they're really neat. And if somebody had shown me these, I would have gotten these way sooner.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool idea of how to store stuff.
So yeah, they're just perfectly sized for fucking DVDs and Blu-rays, depending on which way you turn them in the bag. And completely transparent. You zip and unzip. It's great.
I swear I sent you a link to those years ago because I have like 5 of those in my living room, like single-decker versions.
I have not seen those in your living room.
Huh.
Yeah, like they're single size, so I can slide them into shelves.
You should find the DM where you sent this and then be really shitty about it.
I mean, I feel like I could be really shitty about it without doing all the upfront work.
Oh, really? You're just gonna good faith on yourself that you're not making this up?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm doubly offended that you're doubting me in the first place.
Okay. All right. Sure. All right. But no, these are great. I got like 6 of them, I think. I was able to get the PS2, GameCube, Wii, PS3, Xbox. And this is when I had to come to terms with I have a really decent inbox PS3 collection. I have a rather large inbox PS4 collection. Chat, I have like 9 Xbox One/Series games. And most of them are multi-platform stuff. And I know I bought all of them for like very little money, except for one game. Well, 2. There are 2 games on the Xbox One I paid a remotely large amount of money for. It was Resident Evil 2, because we wanted the best quality, because we had an Xbox One X and we wanted to see the best quality of Resident Evil 2 make. And Kingdom Hearts 3, and we all know how that one went. Yeah. God damn it. Sony has not been more spiteful than the time they were like, hey, Square, can you delay the Xbox DLC by 1 month? That is insane. I had to play through the game again. Luckily, we did that on that stream. I got a save file scammed out of that.
Right.
But still, god damn, that sucked. And I didn't have a great performing version of the game because it just runs better on the PS4 Pro than it did on an Xbox One X. Anyway, my Xbox section's really sad for anything past the 360.
Of course.
Because the One barely exists, and the Series, I have nothing. Who buys games for their Xbox Series console?
That's how the Xbox as a thing worked. It's like, oh, the 360 happened, and then it was over.
Yeah, there are plenty of Xbox original games that are real cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we have those, like Breakdown.
Yeah.
And 2 copies of Crimson Skies.
Like, we talk about often how the PS5 is selling pretty much 1-to-1 with the PS4. A lot of that is China helping a lot. But also, sales in America have gone up from the PS4. It may be because there is no longer effectively an alternative to the PS5.
Yep. So about why we want the Switch 2 to come out and deck them in the teeth. And I want that CPU they taped out to be for a portable and not a PS6. Because we definitely need them to be doing interesting, compelling things more than we need them to be turning out a PS6 this soon.
Yeah, I don't like it's like even by 2028, it's like, yeah, you can't make a PS6 that's a meaningful upgrade that costs less than $800.
I mean, I was literally this entire gen. I'm like, do it. Do the 10-year gen. Do it. Don't do the standard. Don't wake up DP. Don't wake up DP.
They need money. They need money. They need more people to spend more money on something that's a worse value add.
That's the thing.
You mean the thing they're already not doing?
It's for people who don't know, the whole point of them making a portable is that it would run every PS4 game, and then PS5 games it could run in a reduced mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about them making a Vita for people who just did not hear about it. Yeah, I sincerely don't make a PS6. Don't normalize these games being made with ray tracing. Be like, well, it runs well on this one.
They're going to do that.
I mean, devs are going to just make their games with ray tracing, sadly. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been tricked.
I mean, until the industry collapse, which is going to happen relatively soon. It keeps happening.
We sure are barreling downhill.
Yeah, it really feels like it doesn't matter how well Assassin's Creed Shadows sells, even if it is the best-selling Assassin's Creed, it's still Ubisoft's still going under.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
absolutely. Like we said, they can't do it. You can't do that twice. And if it does do really well, they'll learn the wrong lesson and greenlight the $600 million Far Cry.
Mm-hmm.
That will not be the best-selling game they've ever made.
Yeah, it's set in modern-day Japan, and man, if you think the Japanese government was mad about this game...
Yeah, I'm like, there isn't fans of Far Cry have always been asking for such and such thing in Far Cry. I don't think that is a thing. Can anyone think
No,
of
not
that?
really.
I feel like the closest we got was they said it in the States.
Right, and they did that already.
Yeah, they did that. We did. Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like the closest they're ever going to get is Breaking Bad. Like, that's the goal, right? They're like, I want Far Cry Breaking Bad somehow. And they're like, well, we did this. That's the closest you're going to get. Enjoy.
I still insist, and please, some developer, feel free to just steal this idea. You make a GTA knockoff, and just the intro to every single story mission cutscene is one of those ridiculous Breaking Bad shots where they attach the camera to the end of a shovel or something as a character's like whipping it around and carrying it on their shoulder. Just start every story cutscene with one of those. You'll sell 10 million copies, I promise.
Who knows? Maybe that game from the Benz is going to do it. We don't know. We don't know much about that game. Bob, you ready to talk about what we stream?
Of course.
Dust an Elysian Tale, as in the body part tail, not as in the fictional, the noun for fiction, T-A-L-E, is an Xbox 360 downloadable game made by one person. It is the iconic furry Metroidvania for 7th gen. Bob.
Yeah.
How was Dust an Elysian Tale?
It was like the same thing for 11 hours straight.
Yeah.
That was value back in 7th gen.
No, it wasn't. I value my time.
Yeah, I honestly, I thought I beat this game back in the day. I'm not sure anymore, having beaten it now. But at the same time, like, how would I know? There was no mechanics that were added for the entire game.
Yeah,
I feel like you would remember the only 3D asset in the game, enemy planes.
Maybe.
For people who missed the stream, it is a highly action-oriented Metroidvania that has sort of like as started getting popularized shortly thereafter, and Chris commented on last week of like, Devil May Cry like combat, which means you swing a bunch and you do mid-air combos.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really change from 2 hours in until 10 and a half when we were done. And we did like extra stuff.
It's so
but
funny.
The whole middle chunk, the story won't move.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it won't give you new
like
abilities.
Two chapters in a row of like, yeah, you didn't do anything.
It's like, hey, go north. Okay, cool. I should do that. But these people down here, these weird beans, they need help. They need water. And it's like, okay, we escaped the bean people. Well, you're trapped in a cemetery. You can't go north. And it's like, okay. But the thing is, I don't even remember them saying that. They just said it at the end of the chapter. They're like, by the way, the spirit you dealt with by going to the 4 different hell houses, its barriers removed. And I'm like, did they mention that before the second?
Was there a barrier?
What the fuck?
What's happening?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I wouldn't recommend this game to anyone because it really is just neat to look at for a little bit and neat to play for a little bit. But it's like 10 hours of this. And, Aggro, the whole hats and gongs joke of like they made one puzzle type.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this, it's bombs and walls, but you don't pick up a bomb and move it. You spin your sword to draw a bomb fruit towards you. Mm-hmm. And so it's 10 hours of draw the bomb fruit to the wall.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I only played the first few hours of this, so like I stopped right before I guess it kept going.
Yeah, no, just you didn't
basically got the experience.
Right. Like that's I assume that's what I also did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time it's like compared to Devil May Cry, I say it's funny that but you don't have. It's twice as long as Devil May Cry and has fewer abilities. You don't get any new weapons. You don't get any new combos. What?
You get new things that function identically that you can make Fidget do.
Yes, you can
Get 'em,
make Fidget. You can make Fidget.
Look,
do
the
different kinds
joy of dust
fire.
isn't about mechanics.
Uh-huh.
It's about talking to that horrible fucking bean creature that lives underground.
It sure was about that.
It was.
For at least
Or
a
it's
couple
about-
hours.
Or it's about talking to some wimpy little rabbit with a bowl cut and going, that's Deku's dub voice from My Hero Academia.
Yeah, no,
Oh, no.
yeah, that game's #1 like feature now is just hearing these people who later got whole ass voice acting careers.
Yeah, I think one of the minor characters is just Kira Buckland, who's like
Uh-huh.
to be
Yeah.
all sorts of characters.
Yeah.
Trails of Cold Steel is also real good about that because that was like the last thing a bunch of people did before they blew up and started getting into really big shit.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Oh, what an era.
Yeah, so that is definitely a neat part of it.
The game looks very flash animated. I think it's really great for one reason. I think looking at it is fascinating. Some people think looking at it is horrible because it looks terrible. And some people actually think looking at it, it's prettier than they remembered or just pretty in general. So clearly, it is a compelling visual affair.
It is doing something. Like if the anything else could match up to the visuals, I think that would be a much better game. Like
Oh
if the
yeah, we were talking
story
about if the music or the story or the abilities.
Oh, man.
Any of that matched up with the visual presentation, it would be much better remembered because frankly, it is not remembered.
like the music is one of the worst parts. It's crazy how I can't remember a single song. Like none of it's good. I don't know how the music is that plain. And that alone, like that's a huge part of what makes Castlevania so good.
Oh yeah.
That's a huge
Yeah,
part of what makes Metroid good. Like that's a core part of this genre.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna have to backtrack across a map, I want to be listening to a banger while I do it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, what if it was the title theme for Blade Kitten? I found out Bob
That
does
is
not,
a lot. That is a decent song.
I found out Bob does not live with that in his heart at all times. So during that stream, I had to play it just to remind people because I left it on the title screen for way too long. It's burned into my brain.
It's a good song.
I wish this had a song as iconic. You give me these two games, though, I know which one I'm going to play. I'm going to play Blade Kitten.
Yeah, of course.
I hated Blade Kitten.
Yeah,
but
Blade
I'm
Kitten
gonna-
sucks.
I'm gonna play it every time.
I want them to make a Blade Kitten 2 so badly.
So badly.
Like make it actually fully 3D this time. It'll be great.
Yeah.
You'll sell a million copies.
Just get the pseudo regalia dev to make a Blade Kitten game. You am I
Blade
right?
Kitten's become a little different.
No, no,
a little more.
No, I've seen art of her looking exactly like this. Actually,
Trying to remember what the last thing that studio made.
They did the Thai remaster.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
they
is
own
last
Thai.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, they were support on Hogwarts Legacy.
Wow.
And also on the Switch version of The Force Unleashed. But the last thing they seem to have developed on their own, like actually developed, is Thai 2, yeah.
ignore me, Bob.
Okay.
Just gonna play some music over here.
God. Yeah, that sucks.
I can't tell. Is this anime?
You know that joke where they just do the yo and there's a gong sound? That's like the entire Plague Kitten theme. It's just like that 18
the literal
for like 5
intro
minutes.
to the title theme.
Yes. Yeah.
Godong.
Yeah.
Anyways, I wish I had more to say about Dust and Elysian Tale. I think it's really cool that that's the generation where an indie dev could make a game and it gets supported by massive corporations to make it important to a lot of people that this could be a new frontier and a cutting edge for indie devs. However, that game should not be that long, and it should definitely do more things.
Yeah,
and its stories should be told well at all.
It should be half the length at longest. Like that, there's so many just like we accomplished nothing areas, and areas that are repeated like 4 times, like that graveyard area. You go to 4 hell houses, and it's almost the same every time.
Yeah, it's just run away from the ghost.
Yeah,
and we didn't even have the respect to make a Scooby-Doo song to go here.
Right. It was cool to see the crossovers with all the other indie games. Like I was astonished by how much work was put into each one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have the crossovers with characters from things like Braid and also starts
Bastion.
Thank you. And they do really good fan service leading into those areas that are like homages to their original game. When you do the Bastion one, isometric looking squares of terrain rise up to make the path you're running on, and it's really cool. And then you open the chest and the kid pops out, and then the kid just gives you an HP buff because that's what they all do.
Yeah, the reward for that was not thought out well at all.
Yeah,
it's like an HP buff in a game where I basically don't worry about my health at all because it's insanely easy.
Yeah, I don't know, why aren't you giving me a stat that unhinges the game like damage? Why aren't you doing that? I don't know. What's up?
I'm trying to remember if there's more than 2 bosses in this game. 'Cause it took us hours to get to the first one.
I melted the first boss.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
He went to the restroom for barely, 20 seconds or something.
No,
I don't know. When he came back, the boss was dead and it had been dead for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the bosses die instantly. There was only like 2 early
you
on.
hit a boss when I wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
And then there were 2 outside of that, so 4.
Yeah.
There's you know what sucks is that the final boss of this General Gaius, is his name Gaius?
Uh-huh.
He doesn't hold a candle to the evil general in Freedom Planet. The Freedom Planet guy would whip his ass with his instant kill knife attack where he lunges across the stage faster than a human being can react.
I'm sorry, by the time they meet on the battlefield of pieces of shit generals and different things, the one from Freedom Planet would get nerfed by a patch. So he would no longer one-hit you.
And it's okay though. He would find the one from this game really quickly because he doesn't move the entire game. He's in one burnt out house the entire game.
It's a little depressing.
I think Moonblood being a term for cold-blooded creature is cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
Also, you can tell the person who made this very inspired by Sonic Sadam. There's
Yes, you can.
bunny rabbit adjacent things.
Again, like 2 years ago, the creator teased that they were doing a sequel to Dust. I really hope that materializes. I need that so bad. I need to know what that looks like in the modern environment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, no,
we'll do the spoiler cast. If they come out with it, we'll just do the spoiler cast.
As much as I'm like trashing on this game, I'd play the sequel instantly. Like, who knows what they would do?
Yeah, no, we're in full support.
There's certain games where you play it and you're like, that wasn't very good. Goes to the survey and marks, I would buy a sequel.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. That's called being honest and being true to yourself. I believe people were saying, and I looked it up and that backed that up, that the creator of this game also made the intro for Jazz Jackrabbit 2. Like it was a one-man job on that, I believe.
Still weird. There is one anime cutscene in the middle of this game.
I'm just going to show this picture.
Yeah, that is strange. It was probably I think they put out like a trailer for like a quote unquote Dust movie once, and it was obviously just something they made and it was cool, but it's like that obviously took you months and you're not making shit more than this.
Right. So chat, do you want to play the game now? Will you buy the sequel?
Is this the sequel that you desired? Yes, and he designed the sexy girl bunny in Jazz Jackrabbit 2 expansion. You don't say, chat.
That's
You
like how
don't
when
say.
I played Banjo Nuts and Bolts, I went and played the arcade game and looked at the art around and like, wait a minute. This is that DeviantArt artist that I've been seeing for 20 years. What do you mean they designed the Lord of Games also?
That's a lot.
Shout out to Jolly Jack.
But yeah, no, I would love to see a sequel happen. I am in full support of a sequel.
You know, speaking of Jazz Jackrabbit briefly, I watched Civi's video on Jazz Jackrabbit when he put that out, Jazz Jackrabbit 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I had never played Jazz Jackrabbit 1, only 2. So I was floored to find out, wait, people compared it to Sonic because Jazz 1 is a Sonic clone, Jazz 2 isn't.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Jazz 2 is some completely different thing. So I grew up being like, I don't fucking get it. Why do people say this?
Why are you
That
people
you wouldn't
on
completely
my lawn? Go away!
You wouldn't completely change what kind of game something was between 1 and 2, right?
Yeah,
Why would that
except for
happen?
the time Jack and Daxter did it, and the time possibly the most impressive that oh man, what is the name of that thing? The PS4. Oh man, I am terrible at remembering it. PS3 launch or PS4 launch platformer, where the first one's dog shit and the second one's stellar. Knack. I remember the number of letters and that it started with K, and my head could not come up with anything other than crunk.
I love Knack 2 just from the angle of its transparently old style God of War. Mark Cerny was like, well, they aren't using it.
No, it's good. Excellent game. Everyone should try Knack 2.
It's true.
Don't try Knack 1. It's not worth it. The concept of the character is the story. You don't need Knack 1 to experience that. But yeah, no, why would you completely change the identity of your game in between games?
That'd just be weird.
No, just be weird. If Dust 2 comes out, and it is a completely different identity for a game, this is going to have aged like super wine.
They aren't furries. It's like, excuse me? What?
No, they
Zero
are.
copies sold.
They
Zero.
are, but they look like that one ex-Archie Sonic comics guys things where it's just like
Ken Penders?
Yeah, it looks like Pender
No.
stuff. It's like, this is what it looks like
No.
in Dust 2.
No.
Yeah, you're into this.
No one was into this.
We do one of those fake out openings where that's how the game looks for a little bit. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
And then it becomes a tactical RPG.
Yes. That'll teach him. Anyway, notes for what?
It's just the idea of making a tactical RPG. This will show those bastards.
Sometimes when you make art, you just mutter to yourself, this'll show those bastards. So notes for the sequel have way better music. Do not make your game a set amount of hours because you think that's the correct amount of hours for a product. Maybe look at the pacing of your game. Please have the story progress at all times. Thank you. I think that about covers it.
If it's going to be that action-based, have more than one weapon.
We went over this in our Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate video.
Yes.
That's an old GigaBoots video, which means it was made by fucking clowns. Anyway, anything else? No? Okay.
I'm done with Dust.
Hey, remember when they said that line about Dust? And it was like, whoa.
Yeah, when he
That's his
said Dust
name.
to Dust, and then
Uh-huh.
that was the name of the main quest line for the entire game.
And it was like, hey, that quest updated. And I'm like, that's the main story of the game. That doesn't... Hey, the game had the dishwasher. Chat, you remember the dishwasher, right?
Of course they don't.
No, everyone
No.
remembers the dishwasher, right? Here, you can pick him out in this lineup. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's the one who obviously washes dishes.
That rightmost guy? The dishwasher. He's right there.
Yeah.
2D the kid is freaking me out.
Yeah, it's interesting because his art looks the best among them, but it is still just weird to see him like that.
Yeah, it's also wrong to see Braid Guy like drawn by someone who can like draw.
I mean, it's true.
I hate his eyes. I hate Braid Guy's eyes.
They gave him how to draw manga eyes.
Yes.
Like, I just want to pin him down and start going at him with a brick.
And that's different from normal Braidman how?
Normal Braidman, I just don't want to... Normal Braidman, I would prefer to die. This Braidman, I look at and have a visceral reaction to.
I like that the exact frame I got of Spelunky Man. He looks so sad and forlorn. He's thinking about the distant past. You know what? I like that so much. I'm just going to leave him here. Anyway, that's it for Dust. We're done talking about Dust. Bob, do you have anything else?
No, that's everything I played.
Okay, cool. Hey, Aggro, what have you been up to?
I played Wanderstop.
Oh, yeah?
Last week. Yeah, I did. For those of you who don't remember, this is the game about making tea. From Ivy Road, which is a studio made up of Davey Redden. Redden or Reedon? I've never actually heard it out loud. The guy who wrote the Stanley Parable. And Carla Zamonja, who wrote Gone Home. And also the person who did the music for Minecraft, interestingly enough.
Huh.
Yeah, so the soundtrack's really good. So let me just throw you a picture here because this is hard to communicate otherwise. If I can find the channel. Come on, you. Gentlemen, the vibes are immaculate. This game is gorgeous from its color palette to its model design. The environment is...
That's a demo Bob played last year.
So gameplay-wise, it's, you know, what you see in the trailer. It's a cozy game where you're in a tea shop and you grow plants with an interesting system of placing seeds in various patterns to mix and match them into various fruit-bearing trees to mix into the giant tree-bound tea-making machine to make tea orders of increasing length and complexity. Some of which are literally like, make this one cup of tea, and then make this whole other batch of tea to dump on that first cup of tea. Except when you put the first cup of tea down on a table, one of these little chicken penguin fuckers wanders into the room, picks it up off the table, and drinks it, the little shit.
What?
Meaning when I got back down, I had to dump out the second batch of tea, remake the first batch of tea.
Sound a little upset, Aggro.
I spent so long feeding these little bastards to turn them pretty colors, and they betrayed me. So, because you know this is written by the people who did the Stanley Parable and Gone Home, that it's not just a cozy game. There's more stuff in here. Without spoiling anything, I can tell you this game never like takes a sharp left turn indie game style and becomes a psychological horror thing.
Good.
Yeah.
That was my main fear with this game.
Yeah. It's just about your main character who, in the opening section of the game, she is a fighter, which is apparently a job you can have in this universe. She's like undefeated for 3 years. She gets wound up a little too tight and kind of snaps. And now the magical forest is forcing her to chill the fuck out and make tea. It was a little dissonant for the first few hours playing it, that the mechanism for her taking her time and relaxing was a customer-facing food service job. I felt a little bit of a disconnect there.
Yeah. Feels a little bit like a psyop.
Right?
But like the game goes to great lengths to explain to you, like, hey, you can do this stuff, or you can not do it, or you can go do other stuff, you know. Do whatever you want, and it's kind of a beautiful mechanics mirroring story. thing throughout the entire game of like, yeah, we gave you all the shit to move around and decorate and do all this complicated stuff, and you could do it if you want, or don't.
Is that not relaxing to you? Don't do it.
Yeah, basically. There is a rotating cast of very fascinating characters in this game, and the dialogue options are, how do I put this, real feeling? Like if a character is like, hey, this is my deal, and you select the option to go shut the fuck up, I don't care, their storyline just stops.
Ooh.
There are a couple characters, I don't think I saw the end of all of their stuff because of certain decisions I made. But luckily, this game was made by competent people and has a chapter select that I can go back through.
So did you beat it?
I did. It wraps in like 10 hours if you don't spend an enormous amount of time doing all the extra stuff.
That's cool.
It also just gives you the platinum for beating the game.
Okay.
This game has 1 platinum trophy and 10 gold trophies, and the gold trophies arrive when they feel like it and are cryptically named. And I don't know if they're directly tied to story progression or if they just sort of happen on a timer.
Well, doesn't Stanley Parable have the achievement that takes 6 years to get or whatever? Like you have to boot it like 6 years after.
You literally have to not play the game for 6 years.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I wonder if I can get it. Oh, I can't get it on PlayStation. Then it doesn't matter. Or just change your clock. No, that's cheating. That wouldn't be honorable. I have the Blade Kitten music stuck in my head.
Yeah, why'd you play that?
I don't know.
I'm so glad I can't hear anything over here. So, given that it's not it's not a farming sim, it's not a productivity simulator. It is very much a story-based game told through the medium of a cozy sim. I can't, it's hard to, should I play this game? Universally, yes. Will I like it? I have no idea. I have no idea if the gameplay is going to grab you. And I have no idea if I don't want to say messaging, but the themes of the game will resonate with you. I reckon they oughta. I hear there's a demo out. You should definitely give that a shot because this game is gorgeous, and I spent an inordinately large amount of my playtime running around the clearing to find benches to sit on to make the camera swing out and just give me a view of the entire area.
Did it have enough combos to last the whole 10 hours?
Unfortunately, there was only one combo with the broom, and oh my god. So there's amongst the gardening you can do, you have a pair of hedge clippers, and you can just delete plants with it. And there is a brown prickly vine plant that will self-propagate throughout the area if you let it. So huge swaths of it would grow up while I was doing other stuff, and it would get in the way, and it's slow to walk through. So I'd go to clip it down. I was 8 hours into this game before I figured out that instead of walking up to one of these plants, waiting, angling it to the contextual icon appears over it and hitting the button to clip it, I can hold the clip button down. And professionally trained fighter Alta will go sicko mode and just auto chop as you move through this shit.
Nice. These are some good strats you're giving people.
Clipping these things down is one of the ways you can find random trinkets, like little statuettes or toys or vases or lit candles you can place around the shop. You also just find teacups like that, or in little piles of leaves. Neat, cool, decorative teacups. I did a whole lot of arranging stuff on shelves that was not main quest motivated. You can also, as pictured, carry these little bastards around because they will wander around the map picking up random stuff. And some of it's stuff you need, and some of it's stuff you put there because it needs to be there, you little fuck.
So is there a way to, I don't know, harvest these penguins?
Not that I've found. It's also implied by certain character dialogue that these creatures are ancient and fundamental to the universe and basically indestructible.
Okay.
Well, that explains why they get away with it.
Right.
I don't know if that character was fucking with me. One thing I did notice throughout this game that I've never quite experienced it, and it was really neat. Characters that are in the part of the story you're in are just wandering around the area. And when you get to the point where they have more dialogue for you, they will just sort of wander over to where you are, hang out for a second, and if you don't interact with them, they'll just wander off again. It was a very, like, I'd have characters on the other side of the map, but when I'd finished making their tea, I held the right trigger, which sort of gave you detective mode, and you could see where all the NPCs are. You could see them on the other end of the map, turn around, and start slowly meandering toward you. Not like I am 100 meters away and approaching your location rapidly. Very naturalistic looking, just, their pathing sort of meandered over in this direction. It was really, it was an appreciated touch of the technical side of the game to fit the immaculate vibes on display. So yeah, that's Wanderstop. I highly recommend you pick it up. It is the good shit.
I assume you played it on PS5.
I did.
Oh, okay. I played a bit of the demo. I don't think your save transfers. That's why I stopped playing it, because that did seem really good.
Oh, wow.
So if you, I would also suggest if you play the demo, if you think you're going to like it, stop.
Or, the moment you start enjoying it.
Or play the whole demo and then play the game and get back to me on how that was the thematically correct way to do it.
Yeah, maybe, who knows? This is Stanley Parable guy. There could just be different stuff in that demo. Completely.
That is very true. Well, is that the only game you played?
I also played like a bunch more Walkabout Mini Golf this week. I don't know when it happened, but that game updated.
Yeah.
And there's some weird new stuff in it.
Hell yeah.
Like, if you haven't booted this game in a while, do so. And that main menu shack you load into, take a closer look at that.
Okay.
All of the good stuff is now in the back.
Oh. I see.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Oh, okay. Hey, Chris. What have you been playing?
So I have been doing one thing. And that is getting my ass whipped by Mike Tyson over and over and over and over.
Why is this happening? I thought you were ready for the Punch Out challenge.
So spoilers, when I made that challenge, I had never actually beaten NES Punch Out.
What an insane thing to do!
Well, I had gotten pretty far. I was like, well, I've never sat down and practiced it. Clearly, if I did that, it would be easily surmountable, much as Punch Out Wii is.
I mean, how hard could Mike Tyson be? He's just an NES boss.
Oh my God. Well, I'm happy to announce that after like 25 hours of practice, most of that against Mike Tyson himself, I can now beat him like half the time.
Oh, that's great. Good job. Oof. You're doing it on the Mister, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am dealing with the minimum possible input latency. I'm not sure it would be possible with more.
Yeah, I remember Dan Reichert told the story once about him getting in a Punch-Out competition at a bar. They used a projector.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't fucking beat. So here's the thing about Mike Tyson in Punch-Out. For the first 90 seconds of round one, he has one attack. It is called the Dynamite Uppercut. It knocks you down. That attack has 4 different delays.
What?
Which means you cannot anticipate it at all. You have to only react to the telegraph. If you do anything but react to the telegraph, you're probably getting hit.
Okay, so it's at least when the telegraph happens, it's always the same length time for that.
Yes.
Okay.
The delay is how long before he goes into it. And with every other boss, they kind of get into a rhythm, or they have a very consistent delay between their attacks. So you can kind of get into you can kind of develop an intuition on when you should be dodging. And even if you're wrong, they don't knock you down instantly. So if you can get good at that, I can do that pretty consistently when I don't fucking get confused and dodge at nothing. The way I do it is that because he flashes blue as he does the telegraph, I just kind of zone out and wait for my eye to detect blue and then dodge. I learned about the delayed punch. That certainly fucking helped. So it's an archaic NES game.
Okay.
When you dodge one of the dynamite uppers, you can hit him twice. First of all, you have to hit him with the same side arm as the uppercut, or you do no damage.
Okay.
So like he throws a right uppercut, you have to hit him with the left because you're with your left jab because that's on the same side. If you do the right, you do no fucking damage.
That's all right.
And if you wait until I think it's the last 2 frames of him being vulnerable for the second hit, you do like 5 times as much damage.
Weird.
So getting good at that is incredibly helpful for beating Mike Tyson. Yeah, just an unbelievably difficult final boss.
And
yet I don't hate him as much as Don Flamenco. Who is not difficult, but how long he takes is entirely RNG based.
Is he also in 1, or is he a later game?
Yes, he is in 1. You fight him twice in 1.
Huh.
The first time he's a total joke because if you go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, he never breaks out of his stun. And you can just annihilate him. But in the rematch, he like goads you to punch him, and then the idea is you punch him, and then he does a swing, and then you can counter him and do some damage. Sometimes he just doesn't feel like countering you. He'll just block it and be like, "Oh, you use up all your stamina." I can counterattack every time, or 7 times in a row I won't. I hate him. But I finally managed to beat the entire game in 1 playthrough without using a password, which is very fucking difficult because it means you get 1 chance at Mike Tyson.
Oh.
Because you don't get fucking continues for Mike Tyson.
Yeah, because you're just hospitalized.
So you have to put in a goddamn password. And the game doesn't even give you the password. You have to get it out of Nintendo Power. The password the game gives you only takes you to Super Macho Man, who if you lose to, by the way, you go back 4 matches.
So the game will...
When you beat Super Macho Man, it will give you a password to get back to Super Macho Man.
And there's like...
If you have Nintendo Power, they just give you the
secret...
password to get to Mike Tyson.
Jesus Christ. Thank you, Nintendo Power.
And if you lose to Super Macho Man, which isn't impossible because he's pretty difficult, you go back, your rank drops to rank 4. No, rank 3. So you have to beat the number 2, Don Flamenco, and the number 1, Mr. Sandman, before you can refight Super Macho Man.
Yep.
Thank God for that Nintendo Power password.
Yeah, Jesus.
The upside is, if we get through NES Punch-Out without me being obliterated, the rest of the challenge is almost a breeze.
Yeah.
Title Defense Bald Bull might be a little rough. And I don't really like Title Defense Soda Popinski either. And spoilers for Punch-Out Wii, Donkey Kong is a bit of an asshole.
I've never fought him.
Yeah, you when you beat Title Defense in Punch-Out Wii, you unlock a thing called Max Last Stand, which is just, it randomly selects one of the Title Defense opponents. You can't restart, you have to just go. When you lose 3 times, it locks off that save forever.
Fuck.
And Donkey Kong can just randomly show up as one of the opponents in Mac's Last Stand.
And that's really cool. What a cool fucking game. Hey, when are we getting that on the Switch?
Or a sequel.
Or a sequel. I'll take it. Again, make a Pilot Wings, make a Wave Race, make a Star. Well, no, they keep fucking that up. A Punch Out. Be nice.
But yeah, that's literally all I played. I hope to play some other shit. Oh, Saturday we're doing that Punch Out challenge. But Saturday we will also be voting for the last round of Call of Duty. We've done 2 rounds so far. First we filtered it to the top 8, and now we have filtered it to the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
What are the top 4?
And the top 4, the final 4, only one can win, is Modern Warfare 2,
Mm-hmm.
Modern Warfare,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Weird.
Of course.
I guess that, you know.
Because it has the
meme.
dog.
Because, yeah.
And
the fish AI.
and Black Ops.
This is honestly what I expected from the beginning of this prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning of this idea, I was like, it's just going to be the 2 Modern Warfare games.
I'm a little surprised the Advanced Warfare didn't show up just because of Kevin Spacey and press F to pay respects.
I think people literally didn't put it there because of Kevin Spacey.
Okay.
I think they just don't want to see
don't
a
even
canceled actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey was Advanced Warfare was 6th. The one that just barely got cut was Infinite Warfare, the space one.
Oh.
Sadly, Adler was pretty far down, and Black Ops 2 is the absolute worst performing of the.
That's actually
the second
really
round.
surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Black Ops 2 is like
It was
really
loved, yeah.
Yeah, it was loved, and honestly, it's one of the ones where I feel like I need to go through that campaign at some point.
I need to see
learn.
which one from the total list, which one performed the absolute worst.
You know, it's going to be relevant to our news later, but Jeff Gerstmann actually did an interview with Jason Blundell. I believe it's Jason, not Joseph, but anyways. And he was talking about, when I went over to do the interviews about Call of Duty Black Ops 2, there was a guy who worked at the studio who's just talking about how the future of warfare is about fighting over rare earth minerals and all this shit. And I'm just sitting here going, oh, God damn it. Come on now. With modern news. And I'm like, no!
The absolute worst performing one is Black Ops 4.
Yeah, wait, that doesn't have a story.
I don't think that has a story.
Oh,
Yeah, no, if that
well, I
had
guess
one-
that would certainly fucking explain it.
Yeah, that is what you'd be
Somebody's like, come on, guys, we got to vote for it.
You just boot it up and be like, I don't see anything, guys.
Thank you.
It's like,
And then you turn it off.
You get one tutorial mission or something.
My parents bought me one Call of Duty game, and it didn't have a campaign, so all I could do was go online and get shot.
But I'm excited to see how insanely paranoid Black Ops is, because frankly, that's what I expect to win.
Mhm.
It won both preliminary rounds. Wait, no, it didn't. Modern Warfare 2 won the very first round, but that's because everybody was split amongst all the different games.
Modern Warfare 2's... It's important. Modern Warfare 2's peak Michael Bay Call of Duty
Right.
respected era, you know?
Yeah, it's got Burger Town, right?
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that's in 2, but it could be in 1. I mixed them up real bad.
I don't think any
You got
of one's
Burger
in
Town,
America.
you've got Ramirez Do Everything.
Yeah, 2 has Burger Town. I actually, as I was cataloging these games, Bob, I saw that remaster of Call of Duty Modern Warfare
No.
that they did. That's
Yeah.
just a remaster for the PS4, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was
I forgot
so
I owned
weird.
this.
Yeah, I play. It was a free PS Plus thing at some point. That's why I have it.
Oh.
I played one mission of it and was like, I don't think I like Call of Duty, and I stopped.
Well, you're going to have to like Call of Duty.
We're gonna find out. I mean, we're gonna find out how much I like Call of Duty with this.
Oh man,
I'm
if
sure
Black
it
Ops does
can't
win,
be-
I'm sorry.
Is that not a good campaign?
Bob and I have a large separation from the Call of Duty fan base on whether or not Black Ops 1 is really based in good or just kind of dog shit annoying.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I guess
the
we'll
gameplay
see.
and story side.
I guess we'll see. I doubt it can be worse than Battlefield Hardline.
I mean,
yeah, no, I don't think
I wouldn't know. I'm
So
not
it'll
willing
be
to make those bets.
Right. That's
yeah,
fair.
until you do Amy Hennig month.
There's got to be a month we could shove
Until you
Hennig's
do
name
A
into.
May Hennig.
May Hennig. If only there was like an anagram for Hennig that could be applicable to anything ever, but no, that's. But yeah, no. I think it's good to get you into a Call of Duty. I am a strong proponent of any of these, frankly, because I think it'll be funny if you've seen Ghost Campaign before me. You can tell us how the dog was. I think Modern Warfare 1 and 2 are incredibly important moments. And I too want you to think about the numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe I'll think that this game made by the State Department is just unbelievably hilarious as a concept and just start streaming Call of Duty campaigns.
Yeah, that only gets more and more obvious as you go through them. It's wild.
It's
like, yeah, I'm going to stream all of these until I can stop getting them for $20 and then I'll stop.
You know, we kept offering that, but our fan base is like, no, we don't like the based American propaganda games you're streaming. And I'm like, oh,
but they're so funny.
Oh, my fan base is so soy. God, I rip off my shirt.
Man, I'm so excited for whatever the fuck the second theme month you do is.
Oh, yeah, the voting for that's going to be really good. Because, again, Lying in Wait is Sonic Month again.
No, you don't even put it on there. You just guaranteed that was going to be what it is.
No, I'm sorry. It's there, and it's like none of the games you would expect because it's like Sonic Free Riders, the Kinect game, the racing game, but on the Wii.
But it has the one game they want, Sonic Heroes.
Oh,
Unleashed, but on the Wii.
Yeah, I'm not. One moment. Let me drop this Spelunky Man because no one probably noticed it. No one probably noticed this. I gotta drop the background removal too. But if you were keen-eyed and you knew exactly what you were looking for, you might have noticed. Let me see. The reflection's pretty strong. 2 copies of Sonic Unleashed on the Wii.
Yeah, it's an important game.
It's I couldn't decide which to keep because one box is gross in the Wii style, but the other box isn't gross. But it's a Blockbuster box. And both of the labels inside too are not ideal. So we have 2 copies and neither are perfect. I'm terrified. I'm terrified that maybe one of the discs won't work. You know?
So if you do Sonic Month again, which will be, you'll of course have the Mac by then.
Mm-hmm.
That means you can do the PC version of Lost World.
And
understand how
you mean Unleashed?
Oh God!
Of Lost World.
Why would we do Lost World a third time? We already did 3DS and Wii U.
Yeah, what's the game?
So you can understand how the way they actually balance that game for the bonus level, which gives you 800 lives and 1 million creatures.
God damn it, how many times do we gotta beat Lost World? It's like, are they gonna say
as many times as you've beaten Mario Sunshine?
No. Come on. That's terrible.
God, it's so funny that Lost World just like, yeah, that's the worst game in the series, probably. It's close.
I mean, I hit that one level in Sonic 2 on the Game Gear and
worst 3D one.
Secret Rings is pretty rancid.
Oh yeah,
It's
that one's extremely upsetting. That is
yeah,
they could make
Secret
a good
Rings
game
is
out
probably
of it,
worse.
Yeah, if they made it control with a normal fucking controller.
Didn't have those levels with horrible missions to do instead of new levels.
I'll even deal with that if you just make it respond to me hitting a button and pushing a stick.
I just don't want to have to collect the eggs again.
You don't want to collect the eggs and then have a tiny rope,
order.
a tiny rope that's 2 inches off the ground and it trips you and you drop the egg. A shame.
Man, I hope we get a recompilation of 06.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need that.
We need that as a society, yes. You know what else we need? The Podlords.
Oh, fuck!
Oh, fuck.
Podlords.
From Mars?
Yes, that's right. The Podlords. The funniest thing, it superimposed my mouse over there. It's not over there though. I don't know why it's over here. Anyways, yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as BN12, Red Blaze 27, Suzu Shiro, Rado, Wonderfult, WTF Spider-Man, Mr. I Like Spam, all part of her plan, Muck Bun, Shiny Mew.
The thing is shiny. I don't think it's a Mew.
You don't think there's a Mew?
I don't think it's a Mew.
Chris C. Backup Juicifrost. Cooper Tank. Random's a row up roll variety, reach you go.
Okay, so I have to explain this because this is my fault.
Yes, it is.
I saw that, yeah.
So I guess this is from the second live action Scooby-Doo movie. That's where I feel like stupid fucking transformations would happen.
Yeah.
This is, I guess it's Albert Einstein Scooby-Doo. I saw a thumbnail of it that someone posted on Blue Sky. And my brain immediately autocomplete, like, why is Scooby-Doo Jinkaria?
This is terrible.
And that is why we are currently looking at this.
Have they tried did they try and turn the other guy into Shaggy? Is that what's happening?
I guess that's what's happening.
Okay.
Now I need a Matt Mercer voiced Shaggy.
Indigo Sykes. I will never forgive March 10th for murdering Timer Chan. Shinji
I keep thinking they're calling out the Hawkeye Star Rail character.
Well, technically they wrote Mar 10, so it's like Mario, but you know. Shinji 16 really wishes more people would check out Star of Providence. This town ain't big enough for 2 raccoons.
Which raccoon is the new sheriff in town?
You! I finally beat Lords of Shadow 2. I have to say, this is my favorite gameplay of the 3, but what is this story?
You like rat stealth?
Right? Yes, and I'm tired of saying I don't! Sorry, Yotsuba. Osaka has perfected her technique.
Oh, fuck!
No.
Oh my god. Osaka is back.
Sarah Lean. Timothy Pfister has been watching Star Trek DS9 and is entirely convinced Cisco has it within him to order a colony drop.
I love that one meme that's like, what is your opinion on doing war crimes? It's like Picard. I do not endorse the war crimes. Cisco, my officers can do a little war crimes as a treat.
You know, I always do this meme about Voyager. They're Captain doing war crimes. I didn't know Cisco did that too.
Cisco does war crimes in a based way, and Janeway does war crimes in a what is wrong with this woman way.
Yeah, like Cisco will do a war crime if he needs to. Janeway will do a war crime.
The Hard M. Got Wilk.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm sure there's a market for this product.
Oh, you guys don't know. That's an actual story beat. I don't know why they do that. Why'd they call him that? Just translate it differently. I don't care if that's proper.
I'm sorry, Bob. There's Wilk. You have to deal with it. Pleochrome. Lord Richter's on vacation next week, heading down to the coast of Alabama. Stay well while I'm gone, BTD boys.
Have a good vacation.
Good luck.
The longer the stays a Podlord name, the more we worry. The real Disco Elysium successors were the friends we sued along the way. Now that Matt Mercer is voicing Olivier in Sky the First, Troy Baker is now free to take on the role of the man with the plan.
I don't know how much this is edited.
All the parts that are Jinkaria are edited.
Okay, I was like, his hair might just be like that. I don't know.
Virmvarm. Caligula.
Huh.
Yeah, that's sure how he looks.
So he looks like he's a Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep character. He's got the Terra armor. Slightly above average. Need the Chris review of the cute girl thing anime Do It Yourself, where you learn how to build a whole treehouse.
And I watched that and I liked it, but I'm not Chris.
Yeah, but I watched it and I liked it. I'm also not Chris.
I mean, that's a pretty decent power drill. You know, I think
we're gonna have to do this for
stuff with it.
Yeah, we gotta do some GigaBoots for this clearly.
They did a live action version.
What?
Yeah, it feels like any anime that's even kind of successful and you can do in live action gets like a drama version.
This is an Xbox that can't play Xbox games. It turns out many Xboxes are. My name is Yi, and I have a problem.
Yeah, no, you got to admit it, man. That's the first step. Out of you.
The GigaBoots 1984 crossover begins with the 2 minutes hate.
And then, like, Dan comes jogging in carrying a crate of cheer wine and throws it through the monitor.
Digital Basic and Naomi.
Oh, that fucking Zatch Bell.
Thank you very much to our Podlord.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlords. And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GBpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits such as extended early access to Chugging Bleach going forward. Early access to another show, perhaps, that hasn't launched yet, but we're workshopping. An entire movie called Isolation 119, a full feature-length film about a man going to Thailand for a tax write-off. You can tell he's crazy. He plays League of Legends. An unbelievably huge amount of commentary tracks for the worst creations in human history. A patron-funded show one a month wherein you get a Jackie Chanuary show in March.
Yeah, it just came out. It's great.
It's great.
Or you get a commentary track for noobs. Go watch Noobs. I changed my mind. There's darkness in my heart now. Go watch Noobs. It's free on YouTube.
You have two
Adam
choices.
Sessler's in it. And not his stock footage. He's actually in it.
You have two options. You either right now have to go listen to the podcast about Ninja Scroll, or you have to watch Noobs. And if you don't do either, Maynock will visit you.
And if you watch Noobs, leave a comment on that video saying what you think of it on the Noobs upload.
It's important.
We got to drown out the giant bomb, guys.
Yep. It's a battle now.
Patreon.com/GBpodcast. If you don't have any money, it always helps immensely to spread the word. Tell your friends. Rate us on Thursdays. Rate us with a T on your podcasting app of choice. And leave a comment and subscribe on YouTube if you listen that way right now. Patreon.com/GBpodcast.
We've got some news.
We do. I guess we should just do the one industry burning out beat, and I don't even think you should bring out the guest because it doesn't involve actual human misery.
Yeah, it's only one news story too. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So a new expansion for Ark Survival Evolved was announced. You know things are going well when the actual development team of Ark had to rush out and be like, we have nothing fucking to do with this.
Yup.
Yeah.
They're busy making Ascended.
Instead of making 2. Which is still coming out, but we didn't even announce it was delayed.
Yeah, they didn't announce it. They're still coming. Reminder, that's fucking Xbox console exclusive. Way to pick them, Phil.
Man, you think Sony picked some big L's this gen? Holy shit!
But anyway, it is called Ark Aquatica, and they put up a 1-minute entirely AI-generated trailer.
Yeah.
It looks like shit. Mm-hmm. Everything's melting. There's a cut every 2.5 seconds because that's the absolute maximum that an AI can retain coherence on one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm astonished it was still up. You'd think they would take this down out of sheer embarrassment, but they're beyond that.
I feel like it's going to happen anytime now. For posterity's sake, this is a frame taken from it. You can look at that and tell that's AI.
Yeah, I don't understand. I feel like spiritually, philosophically, there is some deeper meaning to be had with how all this shit makes the total sum of all human creation regurgitated back at us always looks the exact same.
Isn't that strange?
Like there's just something about the colors it picks and the framing it uses and the complete lack of any I was for a long time I kind of didn't believe in the idea of a soul, and I'm starting to change my mind just because of AI.
See, the funniest thing is what it looks like to me looks like if you ran a game and you only ever saw the frame gen frames. I'm being serious. That's what it looks like. And so when you get the multi-frame gen, you get closer to this. The more frames you're generating for each real one, the closer you get to just watching an AI generated video.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So video games have souls unless frame gen. But yeah, this shot of a really buff dude on a shark and it's swimming perfectly into the background as this horrible crap slides past him. It's really nuts.
Let me grab my favorite one because there is a part I really like.
Zero J says, why does that shark have veins? Yeah, I can't decide if it's vascular or if it has so many scars. It also could be a Leopleurodon that's off center.
There are 2 shots that are very obviously supposed to be like continuity, even if they aren't immediately next to each other, because they're basically presenting the same thing. But they look completely fucking different.
Right. Because
like you have this octopus come up with the ship, and then later on they have this, which I'm pretty sure is supposed to be the same thing. In their mind, that's the same thing.
Right, they told the AI to do the same scene again.
And then the trailer editor, who probably wanted to blow his brains out, included both of these shots.
This is really one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's slop. Everybody involved has to know they're making something bad and not care.
Yeah, like this reaches a threshold of like, oh, I don't have confidence this will be of any value, to I think these people may be about to commit a crime.
These are all shots in this trailer. I highly recommend everyone watch this trailer.
Yeah, you need to know what kind of just slop they're putting out.
It is so bold to have put out this video because the opening shot is a real video of footage coming out of Unreal Engine.
Right, like that's actually
everything after that's AI. It's fucking nuts. And it comes off as like a corporate speak hype seminar.
Yeah, because it is also narrated by an AI. Like nothing in this is custom made. And I assume written by an AI because it's just saying gibberish.
It's really incredible that you can just look at it and see. instantly.
Every frame, and in motion, it looks even worse.
It will never get better. This was a trailer. Sorry, people are so bewildered. This is for the second Ark game that's totally happening.
No, this isn't for that.
This is
an expansion pack for the original
Ark Ascended?
No, original Ark.
No, not even the remake.
Survival
of Ark.
Evolved.
Survival Evolved, the original thing. This is done by the publisher, not the original creators at all.
1 second.
So this might not even actually be made.
For anyone who hasn't kept up, they were making an Ark 2. They had a trailer with Vin Diesel. That trailer came out. It's an Xbox hot get. That gets pushed way down, and they go, guys, don't worry. We're remaking Ark, and it's going to be using all the bells and whistles on Unreal Engine 5. We're still working on Ark 2. And just now, they announced an expansion.
Yeah,
it is for the original because it's the publisher.
Yeah, it's the publisher.
Which, I mean, are the original devs working on the Unreal Engine 5 version of... Okay.
They're doing
so
everything
we've confirmed
else.
At least that.
Yeah,
okay,
they're doing...
Great. An expansion for the original version, which I swear to God, part of the new version coming out broke some part of the original. They were like, oh, we're turning off this.
Probably.
And they announced it with
who's
AI.
Actually even making this, if this is even actually being made, or if this is just literally an AI trailer they shoved together and be like, we're making a new zone.
That's so nuts.
Yeah. No.
Everything about this Ark story is insane.
It makes no sense.
This was our only industry burning down news story.
Yeah, hopefully no other studios or companies release anything like this.
Yeah, I think this is a truly bold move. I don't know how many more people will follow down this path ever because AI bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bob, look over here.
Okay.
See that? See how it's highlighting?
Yeah.
Windows has deleted my mouse.
Oh. Great.
If I move... Oh, I can use it to hover over Chris.
Okay.
Oh, it's back.
What? Windows 11's great.
Mm-hmm.
No problems.
Mm-hmm. None. Let's go ahead and move on to other news, unless anybody else had anything else to say about Ark Aquatica. All right. The publisher, Snail Games. Did they publish anything else anyone would ever know? Is this the story of a publisher who struck it rich with an indie game and has now gone insane?
Yeah, that's very possible.
Let me get through my news real quick. As I said before, Mark Cerny has confirmed they're going to port FSR 4 to the PS5 Pro next year.
That's didn't they also say that they were developing it in like conjunction with?
I mean, yes, the Amethyst initiative was announced a while ago to say that they were both working on these sorts of solutions going forward. It was unclear if that meant Pista was better than FSR 4 or if some Sony tech went into FSR 4. With this announcement, it does sound like they helped out on FSR 4, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird, though.
Yeah.
Never in the history of gaming has this happened, except for, as Agro said, the PS3 as a whole was selling us on the power of the cell processor. Here's the thing, though, Agro. Here's how it's different. That never happened.
Well, it's okay. FSR 4 will never actually happen.
If that never happens, then it'll be perfect.
The power of the cell processor, like 60% of the features of the OS.
Yeah.
The digital locker's coming any day now. Yeah, my mouse is just gone.
Then they gave us some of them and then took them away.
They sure did. Windows. Whatever, it's my fault. I didn't order them back. I should have ordered it before it was even out. I should have had the confidence I would have been here to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's that news. We forgot to bring up, so that was like 2 weeks ago. Last week, we forgot to bring up AI Aloy. Some small team. It was like a couple of people originally, and then it was a slightly larger team the second time they worked on this. Made an Aloy you could talk to that's powered by AI to present at the Sony Technology Group meeting. They made the second version of this, I believe, late last year to present internally to be like, isn't it cool? You can talk to Aloy. Isn't that great? We're using like these AI cloud things in order to feed this in, and you can have a conversation with her. Isn't that great? And I think the joke, I can't remember if you said it on our stream or whatever. It's like, yes, the PlayStation character I want to talk to most, Aloy. We're going to talk so much about the stash and what she's put in the stash.
Right, I need to know what's in the
How
stash.
many sticks are waiting home at the stash?
It's just gross they would do this at all. That's it.
I understand internal tech teams just work on whatever, right? It's like, I don't know, keep throwing shit at a wall and see what sticks. But it still is like kind of unreal. I need my mouse to work for this fucking podcast. Anyway.
Yeah, there's no real talking to any AI generated character in a video game ever is not going to be compelling. Like that's just not ever going to happen. These companies keep doing these tech demos where they just say gibberish to you, basically. They can't possibly affect anything else in the game.
Well, I heard NVIDIA did that one where you could go and talk to the people and solve problems by tricking them through the dialogue, and that was really cool and a way forward for video games, Bob. This happened last year.
Great.
I'm not going to say who the they is, but they said it was a really impressive demo. Chris, do you think you have anything you would want to ask AI Aloy? Any sort of leading questions for the AI? No.
No.
Oh, that's a shame. She's going to be so hurt.
I do have an AI story I can cram in here, though.
You do? I thought that was my bit. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Microsoft, they obtained the option to buy several $billion of compute from a company called CoreWeave, AI compute.
Yeah, I believe it was 12 billion.
They decided they do not need $12 billion of compute from CoreWeave.
Shocking.
Possibly they saw that CoreWeave is now completely financed by the scam banks. This shit is starting to go. Companies are starting to go, oh shit, this can't do any of the things we thought it could.
Wow. I feel like any human with a fucking brain told you this years ago.
I honestly wonder how much of it is I honestly do wonder how much of this is for at least these public traded companies or the executives going, yeah, it's a scam, but investors will fucking kill us if we pull our support from it.
I think it's all of them. I'm guessing it's the vast majority. I mean, that's the only reason Apple got in. Like,
as dumb as executives are, investors are dumber.
Mm-hmm.
Investors only by the slimmest of technicalities qualify as sapient.
Yeah, the classic story of somebody asked Capcom 2 years ago, maybe only one, hey, we noticed Street Fighter 2 did great in arcades. Why don't you do arcades again?
I mean, an investor asked last year, like in November, yeah, you say you're going to make a bunch of money when Monster Hunter Wilds comes out. Why don't you just release it now?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
That's the level of not in existence that investors broadly are.
Yeah. And Western companies are far more insane than Japanese ones when it comes to this sort of shit. So, of course, there's a weird Silicon Valley death cult where no one wants to pull up. They're all nosediving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like... I don't know. I feel like... Everybody seems to be stupid now. Like, the tech brain rot seems to have acquired the entire industry. Like, anytime anything happens that makes the economy start going down, it goes down for like 2 good days, and then everybody gets sad at the line going down and starts putting money back in. It's like one of those effects where gambling research was like, most people who play slot machines get annoyed when they win. Because they do not want to win. They're not playing the game. They're playing to zone the fuck out and pull the lever and look at flashing lights.
I've played Overwatch competitive with people that I think operated on that level based on their performance. They did not want to win. They seem frustrated by the idea that the onus was on them to even try.
Hello.
Like this is a real thing. This is a real thing where it's like, yeah, if you win, you have to like collect the fucking money and do something. You have to stop. They don't want to stop.
Yeah, they don't
Their
want to stop.
goal is
They were
to
in a flow
zone out
state.
and keep. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want to stop to collect a few coins. They wanted to keep pulling the thing and say hello. That's what they wanted. Anyway, let's move on from the AI stuff.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what it is, Big Screen Beyond is VR. It's a VR headset where it's just the headset part. And the headset is like the barely larger than those sleek swimming goggles. It's like if you expanded one of those in every direction just slightly. So it's vastly smaller than all other headsets on the market. Well, they announced the sequel, the new product in that line, the Big Screen Beyond 2. Yeah, it's somehow even lighter. It has an increased FOV. They're still using OLEDs, thank fucking God. It has pancake lenses, so it's sharp to the edges. You can either do a custom foam interface like the first Big Screen Beyond. That is literally, they do a 3D face scan of your face, so it literally becomes snug with it when you put it on. Or the new version has night goggles type mount, where it's just the band that goes up, and these tiny things swing down to go over your head, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, like they said, you can use it without the custom thing or the rubber flange with it just sitting in front of your eyes, so you can eat and see your surroundings. And I kind of want to know how
Practical.
Confusing that must be.
No, it's not confusing, because in VR is your wife, and you eat your food and you talk to her, and then she goes, "Hey, what do you want to eat?" And you're like, "I heard there's been some crime in this area." And then she, powered by the NVIDIA AI, goes, "Yes, there is some crime down by the docks. It is bad in this area, the crime."
Why have you married the
The diner?
the diner, the noodle shop owner?
Look, it's very important. It's very important that you have this conversation with your AI VR wife. Yeah, I'm pretty interested in this. Conceptually, here's the thing though. This comes at a fucking price. The base model, which does not include the night vision mount, that is slightly more, is $1,019 because it's a cutting edge, incredibly small OLED.
I'm astonished stuff like this still happens. It's like the VR market's just dead.
No.
What do you?
No, you don't understand. That install base of people who are using VR chat keeps rolling. You can sell $1,000, $1,200 headset to them every so often if you just increase the specs. It's just true. That's why there are multiple people in this industry doing exactly that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This market segment exists.
For a market segment where
they're not buying
software
games.
doesn't exist.
They're not buying games.
Yeah,
they're doing the thing they're doing,
right?
Which is VR chat and probably porn.
Yeah,
I don't have any evidence they're anywhere else. The 2 actually has eye tracking stuff. There's an eye tracking model. It is 200 more, so it's $1,219. The interesting thing here is the eye tracking's in beta until the third quarter. But they're literally working with NVIDIA and Valve to put in foveated rendering on PC. Yeah, they're actually working to be, hey, how about we stop wasting all this fucking horsepower on shit no one can see? Because your eyes only sharply see what's in the middle. Reduce the resolution even slightly to the side. Huge performance gain. But yeah, they're working with NVIDIA and Valve on implementing that on PC, which is hugely important, and I cannot stress how much fucking horsepower we can save by doing this simple fucking thing, but no one else in the space was doing it.
Right.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, let me check. I wonder after the API and the other things are in there, if there's any way Sony can update the PSVR 2 interface to make that, because it has the same
Right,
shit.
it has that,
But there's no pre-existing API, and devs don't already do that, you know, because they would need the API, and then there would be broad adoption. Here's the part that's really funny though. You might notice I didn't mention an implication of controllers. Hey, Bob.
Yeah, no, of course it doesn't have those.
It doesn't have the others do. You can buy $1,200 headsets elsewhere that are high-end PC headsets, but they aren't the sleek ones that are super small. No, they're big.
So you need to find. Is there even a?
You just go buy the Steam controllers.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, is there even a third party that sells those alone?
Yeah, you could do that. So you need the Steam VR base station to track the headset and the controllers to use so this is insanely fucking expensive.
Yeah, of course.
Which is a damn shame because, man, the tiny headset, that seems like the ideal form factor.
Right.
Like, no one likes wearing these giant fucking headsets.
Of course not.
And the fact they're able to provide the features and image quality that they are in this tiny headset, it's like, wow, wait, what? Why is literally no one doing this? And it's like, well, part of that is that the Quest 3 has so much processing for the mobile games. You know, it runs the games natively on it.
Right, exactly.
And the PSVR 2 has very far out wide cameras. You know, it's got the upper and the lower. But this feels like the form factor people want. No one wants to strap into a fucking helmet. You know? No one wants to be like, I want to play VR. Let me slip on a motorcycle helmet, basically, in order to do it.
It's one of those things like I have no problem with the PSVR 2 the way it is. I'm like, this is fine. And then I look at the big screen beyond. I'm like, oh, God, that looks so much better.
Yeah, if I was rich, I would probably be down for this. As a not rich person, I'm like, oh, if it wasn't the controllers of the base station 2, I would get many hours of use out of this. But yeah, for people who are really, really into fucking VR that already have controllers, because I don't.
Right.
Well, I mean, I sort of do, and I sort of have base stations, but I don't think this would be compatible with those because those are older base stations which have their own issues. There are many, many, many asterisks around the situation I'm in VR-wise. I'd much prefer to just use a PS5 to play these fucking games. And I'd prefer to show up at a developer's office and persuade them to bring VR chat to the PS5 so that way I could get in and out easily instead of going through the nightmare. Anyway, let's move on. Bob.
Yeah.
News.
People Can Fly are working with Sony on codename Project Delta. It's using a Sony IP, but we don't know what it is. I'm really hoping this is Resistance. It should be Resistance.
It should be Resistance. People Can Fly's whole thing is making shooters with crazy weapons.
Yes,
they made Painkiller. They made a Gears of War. They made that Outriders game that I know has goofy weapons. Like that's what they should be doing. It should be Resistance.
But what if it's Killzone?
I won't fucking buy it.
Like if it's Killzone, I'll be mad. If it's Jack, I'm going hunting.
Oh, Jack. I might take Jack. That might be crazy enough to work out.
That could work out as long as it's not a service game.
I'm kind of afraid it is because that's all they fucking make now.
Ugh.
Outriders was a service game. And going into my news a second, they announced today Lost Rift, a shooting survival craft, blah, 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 coming to early access. This was a project they canceled called Project Victoria. They canceled it like a couple months ago.
What?
And then it's just like, well, actually, it's come out in early access, which makes me think that if it doesn't take off in early access, it's never getting updated.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds to me like we were able to cobble together something kind of like we can release.
That's frustrating.
If they're going to make a service game, please, God, let it be the Resistance 2 multiplayer.
I agree. Hey,
you're right to say it, Dan.
Worth noting, they're co-developing Gears of War E-Day.
Yes, they're doing that. They
have like 800 projects right now. I don't know how many people they're supposed to have.
But yeah, literally on the TBA, they have, and one for 2026. They nailed down to 2026. They have Project Gemini in 2026. And then TBA, projects Victoria, Bifrost, Bison, Echo, and Delta.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Delta is
Delta's
the one
this
Sony Interactive to Entertainment.
Which we don't, I guess the way it was worded means that they might not be the main dev on the Sony one. But I don't know. It sounds a lot like the same deal that happened with Gears of War E-Day. So
no, because the Coalition is a studio owned by Microsoft, which means 12 million rules put down by judges who have no understanding of how a game should be made for their studio. There are people who have no fucking clue who think I'm being dramatic. It is a nightmare.
it's great.
They can't ship a game without getting it co-developed anymore. Anyway, so there's a little bit of a difference.
Yes.
A little bit of a difference, but it could be co-developed, yeah. So
it could be an in-house Sony studio working with them. We'll see.
Yeah. And that would be fine. The Matt Booty dimension. Yes, exactly. People do not know how rules are different in the Matt Booty dimension. Chris, you said that thing earlier. Have you said that on the podcast yet? About?
Oh, no, I have not.
Okay.
So, hey, pretty much from their founding, well, the first game they released, to the moment they were acquired by Microsoft, Double Fine released at least one game a year. There's like 2 years I think they skipped, but there's multiple years where they released 3 or even 4 games. So I think a game a year is a pretty fair thing to say about them. That fucking stopped when Microsoft acquired them. It completely fucking turned off. They've only gotten out Psychonauts 2. They don't even have another game announced. And I'm wonder if part of the reason might be that Matt Booty went down to that studio and said, because if you don't know this, there is video of it. I reposted it on Blue Sky, somebody linking to it, so you can go watch that if you want. Matt Booty went down, and Tim Schafer explained, well, we have a great creative atmosphere here at Double Fine. You know, if somebody puts up their game idea and we don't use it, they still own it. They can use it for their own projects, or if they go to some other studio, maybe they can use it. And Matt Booty basically says, you work for Microsoft now. We own that shit forever. And you can see like Tim Schafer's face go, oh, fuck, that was the worst possible thing you could have said.
And every person in that fucking crowd being pissed.
Yeah.
So maybe people became a lot fucking more stringent with whether or not they voiced not. Yeah, because I'm sure that stuff like The Cave and Hack and Slash, I think it's called, their weird Zelda knockoff, and Massive Chalice and all these things probably started from somebody just throwing out an idea, which they now don't want to do because then it isn't used, Microsoft still owns it forever.
Yeah,
yeah, it's almost like that's the antithesis to an environment of
Double Fine.
Of Double Fine, yeah.
You could not hire more incompetent people than the current team at Microsoft.
You can't, no.
Literally, they did the perfect thing to do to walk into that room to ruin a studio. That's so... And it wasn't even...
If we find out later, that studio is just a complete shell. Tim Schafer's there alone and just doing Days of the Devs and telling Microsoft he's making a game.
It's not only...
Based.
Yes.
It's not only that, it's like what they were saying is like, oh, you can't moonlight and do projects.
Yeah.
They literally said, oh, if you're moonlighting and doing other things, that's a conflict of interest. If you're making games in your free time, that's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
We'll have to review whether or not you can be a creative. It's literally what he said. It's like, bro, you're a moron. You must have 0 friends. Like, no one could hear shit coming out of your mouth and be like, I want to hear this guy more. Absolutely nuts. Anyways.
You also know he's saying that at every one of these studios. I wonder why they all have such trouble getting anything out.
Well, the outsourcing.
Too.
Let's move on.
Sure. Nippon Ichi Software announced 5 games that are releasing between 2025 and 2026. These all just have project titles. They're all going to be for PS4, PS5, and Switch. And none of the titles are final.
I hope not.
So the first one is Curse, which is going to be a dark dungeon RPG, as they described it, with traditional turn-based combat.
Okay.
In a sort of darker setting. And each of these has like 2 pictures they put up. This one showed like a picture of a bunch of different general D&D style character classes.
Okay.
So I assume this is something like an Etrian Odyssey thing where it's like classic
dungeon crawler.
Dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
The next one's Gobble.
Gobble.
Which is a side-scrolling action game where you play as this little character with a scythe that eats things and gets their power. So it sounds kind of Kirby-esque. Under this one, they talk about an in-house thing they have called the Nippon Ichi annual internal. Nippon Ichi Project Festival, which is a competition they do within the company to make a game and then compete amongst themselves. and they choose one, and they're like, oh, this is going on to full development. So that's really neat. I didn't know they did that sort of thing. I didn't know that Nippon Ichi was big enough to do something like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
It looks pretty neat. They say it has a American comic book inspired art style, but you look at it and it's like, no, it doesn't.
And Gravity Rush doesn't look like anime.
Right? That's the level it is. It's like, yeah, it's American comic, as in you were inspired by, darn it, who's that guy who did, oh my God, Imaishi.
Oh.
Like, panty and stocking sort of stuff. Which isn't quite American comic book,
but it's like if Powerpuff Girls was anime.
Yes.
So there you go. It's kind of.
Yeah,
there you go.
Next one's
Kyoran.
It's an action RPG made by the Disgaea team. Like, this is the whole staff. It's got the main artist.
These bullets are killing me.
It's got the director and stuff like that. And it features leveling to level 999. No, it's 9,999.
Your bullets being made by Disgaea staff features leveling to 9999. It's like, how could you tell?
But it is actually going to be an action-focused game. It's unclear exactly how, but they showed the main character, and he's like, imagine if the Disgaea artist drew like a God of War 2018 like idea of a character. Like,
can't
something about it's just like, yeah, he's like the sad dad version of a Disgaea character.
What?
I'm like, this is interesting. So he just looks a little bit like older and more grizzled than you expect.
Oh, is this him in the middle?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, you can tell. Okay. A little bit. I'm seeing it. One moment. My mouse is still invisible, so this is an absolute nightmare, but there we go.
Yeah, he's the middle one.
I can't resize it.
Thank you, Windows.
I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to delete it.
I hope it's okay that they hang out.
Hey, chat. This is how the podcast looks now. Pick yourself. I'm going to go with the leftmost. Aggro, which one is you? Tag yourself.
You know what? Just one more to the right from you.
Oh, that's great, Bob. Which one are you?
I like this middle guy. He's pretty cool.
Okay, Chris, you only get the two on the right. Which one of the two on the right are you?
I guess I'll take the guy who looks horrified.
But I'm really excited to see what their idea of an action RPG is. It's probably going to be terrible.
Cool.
The other ones they're working on, Renzu, which is a horror adventure game, which is centered around like it's modern day and my urban legends. Which is you see it's the next one in line there. It's the fourth image. Looks. I don't know exactly what to expect from it. I'm curious to see their take on a like text-based adventure game. But that's what it sounds like they're saying here.
Huh. So we talking like text-based adventure or like visual novel or?
I think it's more visual novel leaning, but it sounds like you actually can do things with the environment. So maybe it's more like Abyss or something. I don't know.
Huh.
And the final one, Shinigami Hime, which is an action adventure game, and it's the third game in the Liar Princess and the Blind Prince series. So it's going to have that art style. It's one on the far right. You can definitely, if you played Liar Princess, you can tell it's the same artist.
Yeah.
So I like that first game. I never played the sequel, but I'm hoping this one's good too. And that is all of the games from Nippon Ichi that are coming out for 2 years.
And your new podcast hosts.
I guess.
Oh my God. How do I do this? Holy shit.
While he figures that out, they announced Lego Pokemon are happening, like Lego sets of Pokemon. So beware. They're coming. Oh no, they're moving.
Jesus. Windows, why?
Windows do this to us. Okay. All right, we're back.
We're good. So, Pokemon that are Legos?
Yeah. The only teaser we got is we saw Pikachu's tail is a Lego.
Lego and Nintendo announced most scalped product of all time.
Yeah, it's possible.
I need to try to get one just so I can sell it for $1,500 on eBay.
Oh my god.
And then you still won't be able to afford 2 controllers, the base stations, and a big screen beyond.
Okay, this game got announced, and I just had to put in the entire press release.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This game's announced for PS5, Switch, and PC. Missile Command Delta reimagines Atari's 1980s missile defense arcade classic as a turn-based tactical game set against a mysterious narrative that leaves you questioning whether you're trapped in a simulation or truly defending cities from attack.
Yeah, what? This is a armchair dev's pitch.
Like, guys, you're
can't
not
take
supposed
that.
to say that in the press release.
So this is
a cool reveal.
Right? That too.
So they are trying to. So it's war games.
It's Ender's War Games.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand why this is a thing.
I'm. One moment. Let me go look at how it looks. Unless YouTube will also disappear on me. Wow.
This has a real developer, which negates my assumption that it was somehow AI driven. Because that's what the the title art makes me think real strongly, is that it's AI driven.
Hey, you remember that the scene in The Matrix where they're like, "How are you gonna make a phone call if you have no mouth?"
Uh-huh.
How am I gonna click a YouTube video if I have no mouse? I already missed once. Help!
As your hand fleshes over the mouse.
Okay. No. Show me the gameplay. No. Oh,
Yeah, that's it.
None of this is fucking Missile Commander.
No, it's nothing like Missile Command.
Why is this nothing like Missile Commander? Oh, my mouse is back.
What? It's only temporary.
I think playing a video is what's doing it.
Oh.
Because of the API for having a video be rendered to a screen space.
Oh my god. Okay.
Great fucking OS, Microsoft. Anyway. I have Stream Deck buttons. I can end the podcast.
Okay.
I can do that right now, mister. Don't threaten me with good times.
Lightspeed Studios, which you may remember are the studios owned by Tencent, that have people like Hideaki Itsuno working on games, announced their new strategy, which is, each of these studios is going to make their own new IP, and we are investing in new IP.
Cool.
And they reconfirmed, yes, Itsuno is making a AAA action game. Please be excited. We'll see in 5 years if that develops anything.
No, you'll see it in 3.5, and it will be called Slitterhead. I want Bob to get his own Slitterhead. That would be nice. Just, here you go, Bob. This is for you. And you're like, thank you.
I mean, yeah, no, I assume whatever Itsuno makes would have an interesting gameplay loop. Combat mechanics, anything like that. So yes, I'll take it.
And even if it doesn't have like a huge scale and stuff, it's like, well, I still got Itsuno's gameplay, right?
Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if we could all be so lucky, allegedly we're that lucky with Bloodstain. Any day now. Any day they'll make a new one. We got 3 Bloodstain games, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And
then just nothing.
And
maybe they're waiting for the Switch 2 reveal. Because everything's waiting on that, right?
We've floated that a couple of times. It is really possible that they got the deal.
And unlike usual, it's not the Epic Games deal.
It's not a shit sandwich.
Yes. Atelier Yumia, the alchemist of memories in the Envisioned Land, announced a Tekken 8 collaboration. And to do this, they remade the ending to Tekken 1 where Kazuya drops Heihachi off the cliff using the Yumia.
And she drops the slime that's
she drops
Heihachi off the cliff. It's really good.
It's great.
It's absolutely hilarious.
She even does the dumb smirk at the end.
It's great. It doesn't even look like her model's designed to do the dumb smirk. They're like,
no,
this is how bad it looked in the CG.
Right, they had to emulate that, not her actually doing a smirk.
It's hilarious.
They didn't show what the collaboration outfit's going to be, even. They just did that.
I guess it's gonna be for Reina though, because she's in the art at the end.
She is in the art at the end. I hope they do this goes the other way and we get the collaboration outfit for Reina and Tekken 8 of Yumia.
Uh-huh.
And I guess last week they did this for Tales of Grace's F. So she has the outfit from the main character of that, which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird that Koei Tecmo and Bamco are like cozying up so much. That's a little strange.
That is strange.
Wonder if we're gonna get some kind of weird. Oh, Namco has all the Shonen Jump license. Are we finally getting Bleach Warriors?
That would be better than most of Bleach.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. But come on, just make, man, if they could do a Warriors Shonen Jump, that would be pretty great. Like, they did several One Piece ones, just take the best characters from that, show in a bunch of other Shonen Jump characters. It'd be incredible. Easy win.
Write a really stupid plot.
Yes.
Just put Shikitono in it somehow.
And then his stupid strings. God damn it. This guy out of here.
The Last of Us 2 remastered port is coming to PC April 3rd. That's not what's important, though.
Uh-huh.
The PSN login is not essential, but if you do set it up, you get an outfit for Ellie of the main character of Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet.
Wow, that's the only time you're ever going to see that outfit in an actual game.
That's fucking crazy.
But it's just her jacket. They don't shave Ellie. That would have been really funny if they shaved her.
That would have been way too funny.
Shave Ellie. Shave Ellie.
Shave Ellie.
People are like, shave Ellie? Is this some French thing? What is...
And it's
that's
also
weird that PC people are getting a cosmetic for a future PlayStation game not announced for PC.
That's true. I assume that will happen eventually, but not yet.
Sure.
And they also, alongside this, these updates are going into the PS5 version as well. They're adding new maps and new characters to the no return mode, which is that roguelike mode.
It's the roguelike mode, yeah.
Which is cool. That mode seemed fun.
Yeah, it's neat.
That's the only mode I'd ever want to play in that game again.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe as an anniversary of that game being 5 years old,
God,
it's worth another playthrough.
It's 5 years old and they've done nothing except update it and
then update the original, remake the original.
Yeah, what a sad state.
Man, what? Hey, dumbasses. Uncharted 4 native PS5.
They did that.
They did?
Yeah, I own it.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, they did that.
Good job, dumbasses.
Yeah.
Good job, dumbasses.
When did they do that? Was it like closer to the PS5's launch?
It would have been 2 years ago. 2 years and 1 month.
Was it a combo with Lost Legacy?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was that. Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't get its own big retail release that cost too much money, so I forgot about it.
Yeah, no, it was a reasonable price, and it's two great games instead of The Last of Us 1, which was fine, but come on. Yeah, no, they should make a game.
Yeah, they should make a game.
Come on, do something. We have some last-minute news edition
do we?
here. Yeah, apparently the makers of City Skylines has launched a subscription plan. It costs $80 a year?
What?
What in the world? You get
it's for all the DLCs.
Yeah, unlimited access to all the DLCs. Hey,
no.
1 second, you just said unlimited access, but you said I have to pay monthly. That doesn't sounds like you're limiting it by time, actually.
Yeah.
Sounds incredibly limited. Sounds less limited than the normal way to access this, which is buying it with money.
Bro, you already
burned a lot of bridges with Skylines too.
People are already upset with you. Adobe isn't a company people like.
No.
That is, in fact, a subscription model people deal with because it's for their job. It's not something they want to do for their leisure.
You know, I'm torn because on the one hand, this is stupid and evil. But on the other hand, when you have these games that have like $700 of cosmetic DLC and random bullshit, yes, I would like to pay $8 to try it for all of it for 1 month.
Well, one moment while I pull up again how much it was for 1 month. $20 for 3 months, $10 for 1 month.
Oh, still, I might, if I really liked City Skylines, I might try it just to see what DLC I wanted to buy. Maybe I could conceivably see myself doing that. But I think this isn't going to succeed. Like, it's not going to trick anybody. They're not going to get, like, it's just a yet another, we're burning down because we fucked up Skylines too.
Yeah, well, honestly, when you when you said Skylines, I was like, is this a story about them shutting down right now?
That's also what I thought, yes.
Well, I guess we know why they did it. Because they're about to burn down. My God.
People don't seem to be very happy considering this now has a mixed on Steam. Like, recent reviews collapsed immediately, I guess.
Because this has been out for 1 week, according to the forum post I saw. My God. But that's it for Bob News. I'm glad they don't require a PSN login on the PC version.
Yeah, that's good.
Because that shit's stupid.
It is.
And this isn't even a multiplayer game. Hey, remember when they said it would be? Yeah, they said it would be. I'm seeing Barry7 in chat say, the thing about City Skylines 1 is you don't want all the DLC because some of them are like natural disasters and green cities make the game worse. Wow. Cool. I'm sorry, it's whole you gotta love it at its worst to deserve it at its best. Hey Chris, let's talk about your news.
Okay, I'm gonna save the big good thing for the end.
Okay.
So Life is Strange double exposure ate shit and died.
Oh,
what was their plan?
Already?
So if you don't know, Life is Strange double exposure is the fourth Life is Strange game, but the first one that is a direct sequel to Life is Strange 1, starring the same character, Max Caulfield. It apparently sold like shit and represented a significant loss for Square Enix.
It did look like they put a lot more money into it than they typically do.
Yes, it seems like they put a lot of money into this. I don't know what their plan was. Like, guys, do you not understand what the appeal of the first Life is Strange is? It certainly wasn't Max Caulfield. It was the fact it was a story, a teenage drama about a gay girl and her love interest.
No,
Okay.
I want the sequel to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's just Jim Carrey.
And not only that, like, they were too gutless to even decide if, like, to even pick one of the two endings of Life is Strange. Reminder, the endings are go back in time and let the love interest die, and that's it. Or don't let her die, and a natural disaster destroys the town and kills everyone you know because you played God with time powers.
Oh, that's so stupid. Jesus.
But they don't even pick one of those. Like, either she's dead or she broke up with you between the games, and you get like a text message.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I don't get what their fucking plan was on that one. But apparently at the end, apparently the whole plot is they try to make her like a fucking X-Man, and they introduce more characters with these time powers, and it literally ends with going, Max Caulfield will return.
Chris, you have to stream this. It is 40% off right now on Steam.
Oh, no.
You have to do it.
Oh, no. Maybe later this year.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's where the how did you know that sound comes from.
Yeah, it comes from Life is Strange 1. It's gonna be such dog shit. But maybe I'll think about it.
I would love to.
I certainly wouldn't play it on Steam.
Yeah, you're gonna need that PlayStation.
It's kind of a higher end, kind of a modern game. I wouldn't want to try and stream that at the same time as I was running on the same hardware. It was
pretty good. Masabi was doing a pretty good stream of Fallout modded via some mod packs and stuff, and it was really stable for most of 5.5 hours, and then just hard crashed down to 2 frames per second. running the game on the same PC you're streaming on is a constant threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Was.
Moving on. A domain for Persona 4 remake was found. I'm pretty sure we knew this was happening. I'm pretty sure they kind of confirmed this around the time 3
I
came
think
out.
we got
yes,
leaks.
obviously we're doing 4.
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
probably a leak.
Yeah, I think it was just a really, really credible leak.
Right.
I no offense, not to be a downer to people, but I saw people talking about what will they change? It's nothing, just like Persona.
Yeah, why Reload. Would they, 4 is already in a much better state than 3 ever was. 3 didn't have the ideal version, whereas 4 they fixed a lot of 3 stuff. They made it.
It'll be the exact same game. They'll change 2 lines of dialogue in 2 scenes. They won't change what happens in those scenes. They'll just change the dialogue, which is what happened in Persona 3 Reload, I believe also. And the environments will look bad, and it will cost $70.
It will have ray tracing. It will cost $70.
I don't think they can get ray tracing worried in their archaic ass engine.
That's what they did.
Reload has ray tracing. It works in very few environments, but it's yeah. Guess how I know?
Because Digital Foundry gushed about it.
They were like, "Yo, that's cool. Why is that nowhere else?"
I really, really hope they don't just do bad remixes of every song for this, or if they do, they include a way to turn on the good music.
For some reason, it's the same music from 3 Reloaded. You're like, that's not even 4's music.
I wonder if they're going to include the golden stuff. They didn't include the Persona 3 portable stuff, but that's a much more stuff.
Well, is there any way to separate the gold stuff and then sell it as a DLC on a $70 game?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I think all integrated into the story.
Ugh, unfortunate. Because 3 Reload was the ideal.
Yeah, obviously.
Also that stuff they cut out and sold wasn't even from portable. That was from
the PS2 game. Yeah,
it was
the enhanced re-release of the PS2 release. So I imagine the Marie stuff will probably be in just because it doesn't involve an entire separate set of social links the way the female protagonist in P3 did.
Yeah, this would be way closer to just a few more events. It's probably what they would just build it off of to begin with. Because it's extra things they do in summer and something else.
It's a couple. It's like 2 extra social links, 1 extra dungeon and the dungeons in Persona 4 are nothing, so that would cost them nothing. And that's it.
They're not nothing. Persona 3 dungeons are nothing.
No, this bonus dungeon in Persona 4 is nothing. It's like a hallway in a skybox.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it wasn't very high rent. Where the fuck was I going with this? Oh, they're obviously going to recast because every single person in Persona 4 is now way more expensive.
They shouldn't, though. I want Troy Baker back so bad.
He wasn't even back for Golden, so...
Yeah, and they got
Matthew Mercer
saying they didn't contact me.
Yeah.
That's true. In a perfect world, it's all the same people and they contact all of these people.
But
I do think it would be funny if they recast everybody, but Adachi is still Johnny Young Bosch because Johnny Young Bosch is like, I'll do whatever. Paying money.
Reliable.
Paying money.
And God, who is right? They changed Chie's voice immediately.
Yeah, isn't that a long running trope though that Chie keeps getting changed?
Yeah, she got changed the fighting game that came out not only 2 years later or something.
Yeah, Chie got changed and Rise got changed for the idol game, the Dancing All Night. She became Ashley Birch.
Yeah, okay, that's why I knew. Okay, yep.
I forgot about that. That's bizarre.
Yep.
And Ashley Birch certainly isn't coming back to be Rise, not that she did a very good job to begin with.
It's okay though. We fed her lines into an AI.
Now you can talk to Rise as much as you want.
As much as you want.
We already talked about
real quick. I just wanted to, for people who didn't know. So the Persona 3 situations, they took content for Persona 3, and then Persona 3 Fez and sold that across a year as $100. Just want to reinforce why. The excising part of it and selling it as a $30 DLC is insane.
And they even tried to sell, we didn't think people wanted it that bad, so we started working on it after we released the game.
Sure you did. Didn't they announce it almost fucking immediately?
Like 1 month later, it was basically nothing.
So, anyways, we've been offered a code for Persona 3 Reload, and I politely declined.
I bought Persona 3 Reload at a Target clearance sale for $19.78.
Did you play it?
No, I haven't played it yet. Who knows if I ever even fucking will.
Look forward to the ray tracing.
Honestly, after Metaphor, you know that episode of The Simpsons where they go to the petting zoo and they go "aw" at the sheep, and then a smaller, cuter sheep walks in way and they go "aw," and then when the first sheep tries to get back in the way, they shove it out. Yeah, that's how I feel with Metaphor and Persona.
You're so much meaner to Persona than just shoving the sheep out of the way. The story didn't end with, and then they gunned down the first sheep.
I don't know. I'm still gonna play Persona 6 like almost as soon as it comes out, probably whenever they launch that. But I feel like going back to any Persona game is just impossible. Like I can play those games once in my life.
I own Royal.
Huh.
So do I. I didn't even boot it.
Yeah, I own Royal, and I think I also own Scramble.
Oh,
and I played neither.
Huh.
Yeah, I Scramble was a free PS Plus game at some point.
I own it on disc.
Oh. Huh.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't.
Or
wait, Strikers? Is this? I thought it was Scramble. Yeah, chat's saying it's Scramble. One person said Strikers. I got confused.
I think it's both.
Yeah, it might be one that's Japanese title. I don't remember.
Okay. Yep, that's it. Yep.
Sony Interactive Entertainment establishes Dark Outlaw Games led by Jason Blundell. Deviation Games, the Sony studio that died ignobly without shipping anything, was also led by Jason Blundell. So you closed down the studio, started by a guy, to open a new studio with the same guy, who presumably is going to go hire a lot of the same people. Like,
did you not? So we covered this as it happened. Apparently, the co-founder of that studio and him had massive differences shortly into it. That's why the studio fell apart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I hope they're making anything but a service game.
Yeah, same. That's my number one thing here is I'm like, my God, if they're making a fucking service.
I have trouble conceiving of them canceling all these service games and then beginning to greenlight another set of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, since this is now being formed now instead of when the Deviation was formed back then.
The first time, yeah.
The first time. Maybe now they're forming with the thought of doing a real video game instead of what was almost certainly a service game last time.
Yeah. But yeah, the stories that came out is that like the studio's entire ability to function imploded because of such massive philosophical differences, basically, between Jason Blundell and the guy who was co-founding it with him and running the project, made everything just fall apart immediately. So we covered it as Sony took him and then some of the staff and moved them internal. So this is them actually giving the studio a name. And it is existing publicly. Before
probably the exact same project then.
Possibly. But
when that happened, we heard rumors that Sony was keeping that project alive in some capacity.
That happened with the Bungie thing. I don't think it did with the Deviation thing. I think they just took the talent. There are a lot of times, though, I've heard stories about that sort of thing happening, them working on the project, stuff happening, them shutting it down. And when they moved them to the new studio, they didn't even restart the same project. Like everyone just had a vibe of that's in the past now. But yeah, I really hope it's not a live service game. That's the number one threat. For people who don't know, Jason Blundell is prior of Treyarch, like really high up in Treyarch during the Call of Duty era. So he's really huge into the zombies thing. He's really huge into the Black Ops stuff. Weirdly enough, before that, he worked on the N-Gage.
Days Gone 2. Days Gone 2. Days Gone 2.
Oh, that would be so good. Days Gone.
Days
Gone produced by people who worked on Black Ops might be the media event of the century.
That's what I'm talking. That's what you need, that insane conspiracy theorist juice.
You do.
Oh yeah, it'd be so good. Oh,
That'd be so funny.
That would be so fucking good.
Days Gone 2 can only be made by someone who might have at one point in their life waited for Q drops.
The stations, Deke, what do they mean? We have these number stations all over Oregon. Oh, this is so much better than whatever they're gonna make.
Yeah.
Unless they make it, in which case them actually making it makes it even better. That'd be so good. But yeah, I'm trying to remain hopeful about this. And
This time will be different.
yeah, I mean, at least they changed anything about the equation. They got rid of that other guy.
Yes.
Maybe it'll be different, or they'll putter around for 18 months. Go, okay, here's our game doc. Can we hire people? No, and they get shit down.
Yeah, I look forward to the story as we cover it going forward. Because yeah, those are the two paths, right?
Inexplicable. A Painkiller reboot has been announced. It launches for Series, PS5, and PC later this year. Not made by People Can Fly. It is made by Anshar, who have never seemed to have been a primary developer on a game before. They have only been support on other things.
Wait, this is a reboot, not just a remake?
It's not a remake. At least that's not what I picked up from it.
Huh.
So this is a new Painkiller game.
It is a new Painkiller game simply called Painkiller.
What?
Yeah, it's just called Painkiller.
That's insane.
Yeah, what?
Wired.
So speaking of that, go buy Painkiller on Steam, because they have the same title, which means there's a very real chance that game will vanish when this comes out, because that's what happened to Prey.
Oof.
Yeah, it is a reimagining, which says to me that's like it's like a reboot.
Yeah, I'm seeing both words used in different places.
But it's gonna have co-op. It's a very much a we have Doom Eternal at home type affair. There's air dashes and grappling hooks and shit.
Yeah, no, it seems very Doom 2016 and Eternal inspired, which okay.
But they promise you will be able to play it solo, even though there's co-op, which thank fucking God, you do damn well better.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, this looks great.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like, I'll take it.
That's
we
fall
take
this
those.
year. Holy shit!
That's what they said, but it might be early access. Who knows? Like it might that might be. It's launching in early. Well, it's launching on consoles, so it can't be early access.
Yeah, PlayStation still doesn't really do early access.
Thank fucking God. That shit has no place on consoles.
No, I'm sorry. That major benefit of PC of getting games early needs to go away. We need early access on console. I need the possibility of bricking my console playing an early access game, and I need you to make a shitty dev mode that you pretend is a real mode for real people to make real games and not for dev babies, and just spend 4 years yanking my chain about.
Thanks so much, Xbox.
Fucking Xbox. So much of that gen is them yanking my chain. Yeah, we're doing VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, every Xbox is a dev kit.
Uh-huh. Definitely, man. I believe you.
And finally, video game workers launch industry-wide union with Communication Workers of America. It finally happened. And the way this works is that you can just join it. Like you don't have to like set up card check or any shit at your workplace.
Cool. Good.
Their goal is explicitly, we should build institutional knowledge and stop firing people after every single project.
Oh my God.
You mean the way the Japanese industry fucking leapfrogged you on this shit despite their major setbacks during 7th gen? You want to fix that one major fucking problem and save the Western game industry?
The workers, they're going to have to do it themselves because God, the companies don't want to.
Yeah, no, they're in a death cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of those big publishers aren't going to exist in 2 years because all the investors are pulling out to invest in AI. Which is why all these companies are touching this fucking stove over and over with AI. Because if they don't, their investors will sell and leave them to give money to OpenAI. And then line go down, so billions must die.
Billions must die. Yeah, this is great. I'm really happy about this. people who watch Big Think Dimension know we're the most based gaming podcast around because we're constantly talking about workers' rights, and it's crazy to see actual fucking progress being made.
Uh-huh.
It started to feel like the whole industry would crash first.
And that's going to happen, but
they started it. They announced the union.
Right.
So both are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
That's better than I was expecting.
Right.
So yeah, that's great fucking news. And that's it for Chris news? Yeah, we already mentioned that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Of course. It's got ninjas in it.
You idiot.
They're
there
right
are
on the
ninjas
cover.
in They put it on the box.
And the Oscar looks cool too. Like I watched a good bit of gameplay trailers, and they have him able to sneak, but only barely, which is very funny to me. Of like, oh yeah, he assassinates the guy while screaming with a katana. It's not very stealthy.
Dan, can you say ninja like last week? Oh, because we were talking about Revenge of the Ninja. It's a good game. Yeah, no, that's gonna be great.
Yeah,
I'm sincerely, I would not miss this stream. This is gonna be really fun. Bob's gonna have so many cakes, and he gets to eat them all. Chris, Punch Out is Saturday, huh?
Yep, and also the vote on
Call of Duty.
On the Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. It's our remake of The Wizard where the kid plays Call of Duty.
Oh my god.
And he has to get to California to win in a competitive Call of Duty
Is
tournament.
his older brother Jason Mewes?
You're asking me if Jason Mewes is going to have a younger brother who's 40 years younger than him in this movie.
And they won't acknowledge it at all. And Jason Mewes is going to wear a hat backwards to try and convince you that he's actually only 20.
He's like, this is fucking bullshit, man. Why am I driving this kid around? God. Why won't Kevin put me in a new movie? Fuck. Anyway, that's a great idea for a film.
It's incredible.
First, we're going to conquer making indie films that are just Zatoichi, just blatantly, except for it's aggro killing people. Then we're going to let Chris co-write some romantic comedies with the Fujoshi. And then we're going to do comedy films. And then we're going to do a superhero film and shut down the studio because
it's only appropriate.
We blew our entire budget. It was $1 million and most of it was taken out on loans. Really, really bad loans.
We tried to invent the live service film.
It didn't work.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? We were so close. The sun is so warm. We just get a little closer. Anyways, that's going to do it for Big Think Dimension this week. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in there so that way people can follow Chris Wolfhart. There we go. Boop. Oh, that was a typo. I love you, keyboard, you stupid, stupid bitch. There we go. I have critically failed a shout out twice. Sorry, Chris. It's just not happening. Fine. The keyboard said no. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of Big Think Dimension. See you all later. Goodbye. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible because of you and your support over at patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get early access to Chugging Juice, where we watch the anime Juice. And it has our main guy, Ichino. That's it. That's the whole joke. I'm done now. Please support us on Patreon. Thank you. Goodbye.